And Carson have the call from Death Valley. Enjoy the ball game. Tim Brandon went on halftime along with these guys for the Residents in College Football Scoreboard. So long, and enjoy the big ball game from Death Valley.
This is a daybreak that Clemson faithful have waited on since Florida State came into the league. It's a quiet, beautiful part of the Carolinas, picturesque, great scenery. It's also a part of the world where they live and die with their football team. These people are also some of the finest football fans you'll find any place in the country, many of whom have traveled for hours, hundreds of miles, to cheer for either Clemson or for Florida State tonight. Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Franklin. Welcome once again to CFA Primetime here on ESPN. Well, tonight these folks will see history. For the first time, Florida State against Clemson as an ACC member, and therein lies the rub. Florida State picked to win the conference. In fact, they're the team garnering the headlines, and Clemson's been the big cat on this block for some time, and rightfully so. Some people have even gone so far as to say Florida State will raise things a notch in the ACC. And in talking to some of the locals, they think it's already been pretty good. They don't appreciate that kind of logic.
They're coming in our home turf, and we're going to defend it.
This is the real ACC here at Clemson.
We needed to come.
We're no sissy college.
Well, we think they're going to learn what football's all about when they come up here to play us.
If you think this pig is cooked, wait till you see your goose.
Watch out, Florida State. We're ready. We're hungry.
I'll wear some earplugs because we're going to be loud, we're going to be rowdy, and we're going to be ready for them.
Like an old man guarding his house. You know, we don't see anybody coming in our backyard and whipping us.
So we definitely go in and expect and get the win.
People just jump to conclusions about they're just going to come in around the conference.
We got a dream that we want to, and we're willing to go do anything and anybody to get it too.
We do own the ACC championship as far as Clemson is concerned.
The weight room, a key ingredient to any team's good running attack. And tonight, Clemson needs to get the option going against Florida State. Just one option. They'll run several different ones, but to the split inside, the load option, where they'll block the two defensive linemen with their offensive linemen. The key block will come from the fullback on the linebacker. Chop block at his feet. Be tough for the linebackers to play. Reverse out by the quarterback, tailback on a trail. They'll force the free safety in the alley so you get a 2-on-1 situation. If they have success with the option, that leaves no underneath coverage on the outside versus the split in Terry Smith, number 24. So individual routes, it'll be a man-to-man coverage, some big plays out there for Terry Smith. On the other side of the ball, Charlie Ward, the quarterback for Florida State, who coaches tell me the bigger the game, the bigger he plays. 2 years ago in the Metro Conference basketball tournament, it was his last second shot that won the game. Tonight, it would be a key for Florida State to get him on the outside the tackles for him in a run-pass situation. For Clemson, they must have a controlled rush because he's dangerous on the scramble. Also a key tonight, I think the first 7 minutes for Florida State. It's going to be such an emotional game for Clemson. They have to dodge them the first 7 minutes and not dig a hole for themselves. After 7 minutes, it becomes anybody's ball game.
On the field, emotion I've never felt before. Think about putting your hands on history. Rub the rock, then run the hill. That's a reward for coming to Clemson. A reward described by the man for whom this field is named.
All the boys, as they run down the hill, can rub my rock if they're going to give me 110%. I said, if they're not going to give 110% to keep the filthy hands off my rock.
When you're standing on top of that hill and you're looking out at 84,000 fans and they're looking up at you and you got your hand on that rock, hey, you know it's time to play football.
ESPN's presentation of CFA football is brought to you by new STP engine treatment. Help stop engine wear before you start. And by Citibank, MasterCard, and Visa. Make sure your card says Citibank.
In this business, you need to know all you can about security. And I thought I did, until today. One of my customers handed me this Citibank Visa card, this new one.
Look at this.
And would you believe it had her photo right on it? So how could anyone else use it? It's such a simple idea, it's brilliant. You know, when something's important to me, I protect it. That's why I'll be carrying a Citibank card.
Not just Visa, Citibank Visa. Call 1-800-CITIBANK.
You start it every morning. Start after start after start. When most of your oil is still down in a pan, you start metal-to-metal contact. You start engine wear. Now help stop it with the latest breakthrough from STP. New engine treatment. It bonds right to engine parts. Independent tests proved it. Just add a quart at your next oil change and help stop engine wear before you start with new STP engine treatment.
Yeah, I was actually hoping we didn't make a first down because I didn't think we could drive that far. I was thinking maybe a 18 or 19-yard gain, trying to get some momentum, not so much a touchdown, to get some momentum. It made us. If it had not have worked, no, they'd have run me out of town. They would have put me under the train and run me out of town.
We all know the bottom line, though. They did not. Many people think it's one of the most brilliant calls they ever saw. What do you think, Mike?
Ron, I think it's the best call I've ever witnessed, and I think it gave him his gambler image. But I think he underestimated his fans because I don't think he'd have made it to the railroad tracks if it didn't make it.
Ken Hatfield, well, he's never lost in his own backyard. But I can tell you, as you look at that man right now, blowing a little steam, yesterday when we visited with him in his office, I'm not sure he was sitting on that couch. He's just been higher as a kite since this game was scheduled back last January.
This whole Clemson football team in a crowd will be higher than a Georgia pine tonight.
Easton and Ryans will be the two deep men as you look at Ryans, number 20. Easton to the near side. You'll see Easton tonight in a lot of specialty situations. He's a quarterback. He holds on the field goal and extra points, and also is the up back on the punting formations. Mowry to kick it off. Florida State won the toss. They deferred to the second half. Florida State Clemson, we're underway. Easton from the 6. And now let's take a look at the Energizer starting lineups. On offense tonight for the Clemson Tigers, Richard Moncrief gives this team a different personality. Good runner, but he can throw extremely well. Terry Smith, very good performer, but Larry Ryans is the one to watch. They'll get him the ball tonight on reverses as well. And on the offensive line, very young to the left side, Seegers is the anchor. He's the best offensive lineman at right guard. Comes in to throw on first down, zips it out, and has it complete to Smith at the 34-yard line. Let's meet the Seminoles on defense this evening. Well, starting with the linebackers, number 55, Marvin Jones. When you come to his backyard to play, you better bring your best toys. Always prepared. He's a tough one. And the defensive line, they have 3 down linemen. McIntosh, the youngest of the group. Coaches think he's going to be very, very good. And in the secondary, Leon Fowler, one of the few guys who played in the last meeting, 1989, that game down in Tallahassee. Clemson, back-to-back passes, goes to Smith again, and he will be out to the 41-yard line as Tommy Henry comes over to make the stop. Mike, what do you make of this?
Well, Clemson's trying to be very aggressive on offense from the beginning of the ball game. That was a checkoff play that Terry Smith ran, just a quick out because Florida State bunched up around the line of scrimmage to play the run game of Clemson.
First 2 plays, 2 passes, 2 completions. formation. That's Blunt over the top, very close to the first down and around the 44-yard line.
It's a new formation, Ron, that when you look at this game, Clemson has been preparing for Florida State since last December. And this is a formation they didn't show in the first game. Stack I. 2 fullbacks in the game.
They are going to bring the chains from across the way, which Mike will give you an opportunity to explain to me and also to the rest of the nation the benefits of using the stack I. And obviously with 2 fullbacks, you're looking for more blocking.
You're going to look for more blocking. You're spreading people out with the wide receivers, but having the 2 fullbacks in there, one can be on the fake on the option, the other will block the option at a different angle, so a linebacker doesn't see him as well as he'd see him if he was a tight end, so he's coming from a different angle.
It is first down Clemson. Back-to-back first downs for them. So in the backfield will be Blunt. Mario Greer has checked in. He's a big one at 224, a freshman fullback. And Paul Caputo, a senior out of Essex Falls, New Jersey. .32 Greer, short yardage. It's Carl Simpson, a senior out of Baxley, Georgia. The defensive end who comes across to make the initial stop.
Ron, we talked about the emotion of the ball game, and when you come into a game like this, if you're the opposing coach, you've got to tell your players, first 7 minutes, it's going to be very emotional. We've got to be able to not dig ourselves a hole, just stay with them until this emotion burns out.
3 wide receivers for Clemson. Short drop, and on a quick-out pass, it's caught by Smith. He already has 3 receptions in the game, and again, it's Tommy Henry defensively for the Noles.
This shows the confidence that the Clemson coaches have in Richard Moncrief to allow him to be able to come out. You see the single coverage on the wide receiver. They have confidence in Richard Moncrief, just a 3-step drop, but he's someone they believe in. The players believe in him because he's a leader. He's someone that works harder than everybody else on this field offensively.
Again, Clemson goes with that stack I formation. Crowd thought that Greer had the football when in essence it was Moncrief, and Marvin Jones stepped up into the hole and stopped that one quickly. You could hear to our left the crowd came up as Greer broke open.
Well, it was the fake to Greer, and Richard Moncrief kept the ball on the option, on the load, but Marvin Jones, the great middle linebacker for Florida State, made the play.
4th down, Clemson will go for it. We won't have to tell you. The crowd will let you know if they make it. We'll either have silence or you won't hear anything.
Florida State wants to talk this one over defensively, whether or not to bring in a short yardage defense.
We will take advantage of the timeout. 11:21 left in this opening quarter. Tigers appear to be going for a big 4th down.
It'll start your day. You'll be on your way. Bring it your day.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
The tingle feels like it's taking away the dandruff. That's me taking the Denorex shampoo test. I love that tingle. It convinced me to switch from Head & Shoulders to Denorex.
Denorex with conditioners, the dandruff shampoo you can feel working.
I'm a Denorex guy now.
I'd like to make a toast to the bride and groom. When something's right, it works. It endures. I don't want to get too sappy, but you two are going to have a long and happy life together. And your mother and I would like to give you a little something for that journey. Hope you like the color.
We drove an engine 200,000 grueling miles using new Mobil 1. Then we ripped it apart. What did we find? Nothing. Nothing. Virtually no engine wear. What kept these vital engine parts like new? This part. New advanced formula Mobil 1. It keeps your engine running like new.
Welcome back to Clemson. No score. 4th down. And Clemson appears to be going for it. They have less than a yard. Mike, they are over the 50-yard line. You know, even if they try to get them to jump offside, it might not be a bad thing to take a 5-yard penalty if that is, in fact, what they're going to do.
If they go for this, that means they have tremendous confidence in their defense.
They go for it, and I don't think he got it. Greer got submarine. At the 46-yard line, it is Florida State football. McIntosh submarined him along with Marvin Jones. Also Simpson there helping out.
When you play against the big offensive line, you like to have movement. Watch the Florida State people get underneath the blocks of the Clemson offensive line. Had him in the backfield before he could even get up. Now look for the big play for Florida State because they've turned that emotion away. So now Bobby Bowden has great field position.
Ward on the keeper will be stopped before he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and you can see Florida State faking a reverse on the very first play. Let's meet the Noles on offense. Charlie Ward, great in basketball, and Bobby thinks he's going to be just as great as a football player. At wide receiver, Kevin Knox will start ahead of Shannon Baker. He's a flyer, and up on an offensive front. Now, they're young up front. Robert Stevenson has played every position on that offensive line for Florida State. Fumble by Charlie Ward, still scrambles for it, and Florida State has recovered.
Talked about when you go for a short yardage on 4th down, you have to have confidence in your defense. So far, 2 plays, they've responded. Charlie Ward, the quarterback, just looks like he takes his eyes. The ball is a little bit low on the snap. Very fortunate to recover. Patrick McNeil, number 69.
On 3rd down. Ward drills it, has it intercepted. Norris Brown.
When you have a good pass rush, sometimes you like to try to wear them out by rolling your quarterback starting the game. Norris Brown just steps in front of the intended receiver for the interception, and Clemson's defense responded.
Straight ahead with the running play. As you look at Norris Brown on the sideline, very happy youngster. As Clemson gets a reprieve, they missed the 4th down play, and let's make it official. There was a fumble on that play. Not only did they stop them short of the 1st down, and Alexander was officially given a recovery of the fumble, so note that on that opening series. As Charlie Ward visits with the coordinators here in the press box. The blunt, turns the corner, 5, 6, 7, count him out of bounds at around the 34. Fowler got him.
When you face a defense that runs so well, you have to counter them. Richard Moncrief starting to the right. It's a fake to the fullback, then a counter option where he pitches to Rodney Blunt. You see how fast the Florida State pursues. That's why that play was successful. It countered the speed of the defensive front.
Moncrief, if you're wondering, as they look at a 3rd down situation, 3 of 3 for 24 yards in the early going. No score. 9:05 left to play opening quarter. Left tackle move. Straight ahead on the running play. Greer got the handoff. There is a flag in the backfield. I think you could see Lejeune, number 71, I believe the left tackle, moved just prior to the snap.
Dead ball foul. Ball start on the offense. 5 yards.
Joe Ryder, the referee tonight. So Ken Hatfield's group taking advantage of a tough defense and also this huge helping hand of a home field advantage here at Death Valley. And Florida State turns the football over. Tigers now with a 3rd down, and the line to make is the 32. What in the world? Ball was snapped. Moncrief looked as though he went down on a knee like he was not ready for the snap.
He wasn't ready for it, Ron. I think it was snapped prematurely, and Florida State defense again holds. If you ask both these coaches before the game, I think both of them would have responded the same way. I'd like to start with my defense. I'd like my defense to get us in the ball game. And both defenses have responded.
Nelson Welch. He will do both duties, the place kicker and also the punter. 8 punts, over 42 yards last week. Kicking game is excellent for the Tigers. Out of bounds at the 5-yard line. Only 35 in the kick, but it was perfect. We'll be right back.
Automobile show, where you'll see the finest of tomorrow's.
It all started 35 years ago. I'll never forget that day.
David. Gotta go.
It's funny though. You grow up, raise a family, your priorities change. Of course, there are some priorities that never change. The trick is to make a decision now that you'll be happy with for years to come. When it's all said and done, I think it all goes back to that day 35 years ago.
David, are you out there?
Both Visa and American Express Gold cards can get you to La Roche-Guyon, one of the prettiest towns in France. But should something go wrong here, only Visa Gold can get you out.
You had to come to France, right?
Don't start, Marty.
Because La Roche-Guyon's only towing service
No, we're not getting a tow truck. I can get this out.
doesn't take American Express. Visa Gold, delivering what really matters.
Jamal's from.
Honey, that means I eat France.
Oh.
It's everywhere you want to be.
ESPN's presentation of CFA football is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, builders of fine automobiles since 1886. And by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. Mike Gottfried, Adrian Karsten, and Ron Franklin with you from Clemson, South Carolina. The big sign across the way says, "Welcome to Death Valley." That goes back to a coach at Presbyterian College who gave him that name. I'll tell you more about that as the night goes on. Ward with the handoff straight ahead for 3, now 4 yards to Jackson. We never got an opportunity because they were off the field so quickly, doing such a good job. Let's meet the defensive unit for the Clemson Tigers. On the down 3, really a very good one. They're big guys, but Buckner is the man to keep an eye on, number 89 in the middle. The linebackers active and good. Simmons intercepted a pass for a touchdown in that last meeting down in Seminole country. And in the defensive secondary, O'Neill's the quarterback, but Trapp is the man to watch tonight. I think the Seminoles might try to pick on him a little. Jackson was the first man there to make the hit.
Florida State over the years has been predominantly a 2-back offensive team, an I team, and Now they're trying to move to the one back there. Bobby Bond told us that they were kind of in between the two back and the one back, but the advantages of what they're doing right now spreads the defense out, gives a better read for Charlie Ward at quarterback on the defense.
If you just joined us, we're about to go under 7 minutes to play in this opening quarter. Still no score. 2 possessions by each club. Ward, very deep drop. Screen pass to the right side, and oh my goodness. Jackson had it go off his hands. Had that been intercepted by Simmons, he would have had another touchdown against the Seminoles.
Just a little bit too hard. The screen was set up to the right side. Charlie Ward just a little bit too anxious throwing the football. See Charlie set up, step, throw it, a little bit high, but still should have been caught by Sean Jackson.
John Wimberly, 44-yard average last week. He'll be kicking to Robert O'Neill. Good coverage kick, very high. O'Neill with the fair catch. That's at the 48-yard line. It's good for 42 yards. Well, next Saturday, a huge one here on ESPN. College Game Day gets you going at 11:30. And then a triple header. First game of the day, Oklahoma State at Michigan. Beginning at 12:30 Eastern time, followed by the scoreboard show, and then Ohio State will take on Syracuse at 6:30 Eastern time, and then Mike and I will be up in the Great Northwest for the matchup between Nebraska and Washington. All next week, right here on ESPN. Deep curl. Pass is going to be overthrown.
One-on-one situation on the outside again. They're put so much emphasis on stopping the option that pass is there all the time. Going to have to take advantage of the good field position they've had so far. Clemson has been in great shape offensively.
They really have. Line of scrimmage, the 48. Ronald Williams has checked into the backfield. Number 25. Pass incomplete. Looking for Bryant, number 1. And now it's going to be 3rd down, and let's go down to Adrian Karsten.
Ron, the voice level and noise level down here is absolutely deafening. Player to player, concentration and communication almost impossible. This decibel meter is showing that the level currently reads well over 100 decibels, which means that I'm literally trying to talk over a jet engine. Much as Florida State has scouted the offense and defense of Clemson, this is one thing they could not prepare for.
You know, Mike, Bobby talked about yesterday that they had been working with the speakers blaring away, but I'm not sure you can reproduce a sound like this, can you?
No, it's not the same because your player's under a different emotion right now in this game.
On 3rd down, draw play, sprint draw to Williams, comes across midfield, and is going to be stopped at the 48-yard line. And the Florida State defense, led by Brooks, with a very good series there.
Tackle for the Seminoles by Derek Brooks.
So it's 4th down, and the kicking unit comes on, and put an asterisk by that one as well. And keep in mind what Mike Gottfried said: a punt and also an interception that they got either at midfield or in Florida State territory, and they come away with no points. Very big. Oh, this is a dandy. Was very, very high. Fair catch is called and made by Corey Sawyer at the 12-yard line. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
As Marvin Jones trots off the field, you've got to realize that up until about 30 seconds before kickoff, they literally took intravenous tubes out of his arm. He is fighting a terrible case of the flu, and his stamina throughout this game is going to be a factor.
Chuck Amato coaches the defense for Florida State, told me Marvin Jones, when he came to school, when he was a freshman, he said, "Coach, I'm going to win the Butkus. I'm going to be up for all the awards," because Chuck Amato just said he just sets high goals for himself.
Mike, he was the first sophomore to ever be a finalist for the Lombardi, and that was last year at Houston. Ward rolls the pocket, throws against the grain, looking for Baker. Not there. A little bit behind him. You could see pressure coming from the linebackers. Trapp was out there covering, but it was Tim Jones who was coming from the inside.
Pressured inside, and Florida State is starting by trying to roll Charlie Ward out. 2 reasons. One, get him on the corner, but second reason, try to wear this rush down in the game as it starts, just to keep moving the quarterback around.
He'll be better and settle down, I think, once he gets his first completion. But right now, his only completion is to an orange jersey. That's not what Coach Bowden had in mind. That's a quarterback draw right there all the way. Takes it to the 21 to 22-yard line. And guess who's in at center? Robbie Baker, who has been injured.
Quarterback draw. He's going to make a little cheap fake here to the one remaining back. No, that was a guard coming around. Looked like a back. Charlie Ward just ducks in, but good defense by Clemson.
Has scored a touchdown this year. You can see that average lofty, over 9 yards per carry. Third down on the line to make, the 23. Pass, he's got it. Fryer. And the first down by Florida State at the 30.
Now, Ron, just what you were talking about. Now that settles him a little bit. You have the quick pass, moves the chains. He'll gain some confidence now at the quarterback spot.
Mike, answer me a question. The one-back, two-back thing, Tiger McMillan was the lone setback this time. You played all the way through high school and even in college in a two-back set. All of a sudden, you're in a one-back. You're normally, if you're a tailback, you're accustomed to having a fullback in front of you. How tough is that to change around?
A lot of his reads now in the one back will come from the offensive lineman, where before he'd have a lead blocker.
They come with a reverse. Nothing doing. Knox is going to be hit and knocked down way back at the 17-yard line. Jones and Wilson.
Florida State was trying to counter the speed of Clemson's defense. These are both defenses that run well, so you have to counter, you have to reverse. But Pierre Wilson, 98, read the play and was able to stop the reverse from gaining any yardage and a loss.
Simmons was back there as well. Jones was the man who grabbed the hold after Pierre Wilson missed him the first time, but he didn't miss him the second time. Second and 21. Draw play. Takes it back out to the 25. And for the Seminoles, going to be third down, and they need to take it out across the 41.
I'm wondering how long it'll be before they go back to the eye and go back to running the ball a little bit. You see Bobby Bowden, he was telling me the other day, the one back said he lets his assistant coaches call the plays. He said, that way I can blame him. He said, but if we get back to the eye a little bit, I'll get involved.
Brad Scott is the offensive coordinator. He calls the plays. And as Coach Bowden said, I can interject anything I want at any time. As a timeout has been called in the field, we'll take it with him. 3:40 left in the opening quarter, still no score.
I know times is tough for you and me, because most things are costing me more, just like you. But I'm getting some deals now on fresh shrimp, catfish, Cornish hens, and pork steak. And I'm passing a good deal on to you now during the week with Neighborhood Specials. Complete meals such as red beans and rice, gumbo and etouffee served with 4 kinds of shrimp, or 2 kinds of fish, or 2 kinds of chicken, or steak and shrimp. And for dessert, a choice of homemade cobbler with bluebell ice cream. Now you don't have to wait for that special occasion. So come on down to the Crazy Cajun for food so good it'll mess with your mind.
Great to have you along with us here this afternoon. Back to Cobb, touchdown Rice.
Fall in love again with college football at Rice Stadium. Special $5 ticket coupons available at Houston area Whataburger stores.
Possible to watch all the NFL action on Sundays. Right? Wrong. See every bone-crushing hit, every big score, and every key play from every game in just 60 minutes of non-stop excitement. Football's fastest hour when you're hungry for action. NFL Prime Time, Sunday night at 7 Eastern, only on ESPN.
Florida State Clemson, still no score. Late going of this opening quarter. As you look at Charlie Ward, junior from Thomasville, Georgia. Gets a block at the 30. Will have the first down and still on his feet to midfield. Matt Fryer, you could see number 12, Mike Godfrey, throwing a key block.
Charlie Ward hurts you in so many ways. He's an excellent scrambler. Clemson really didn't come with a lot of pressure here. A little bit of a controlled rush inside, but he sees the opening and makes cuts like a running back. Picked up some good blocks on the outside and then picked up the first down.
Well, he is light on his feet. Excellent feet. Short drop this time, and a quick out pass to Knox. Going to be hauled down inside the 40-yard line. And Tim Brando, what do you have for us?
Arizona's ambidextrous quarterback George Malaulu got off to a sluggish start. So what do? You make sure you give it to your back, Antoine Carter. 7 yards for the scamper. They've added a field goal by Steve McLaughlin. They lead Washington State by 4 at halftime.
Thanks, Tim. We're still late in the first quarter, and both teams looking for a score in this one. Deepest penetration so far, but the Seminoles. McMillan. Inside the 35, and he's around the 33-yard line. Well, Charlie Ward, quite a story. We talked about his basketball, Mike. Also has been elected as vice president of the student body at Florida State. This is what he did with his basketball averages, and this is what he did last week. 4 touchdown passes, but he did have 5 turnovers, and he has one here tonight. Also maintains over a 3-point average in the classroom. This is the 10th play of this Florida State drive. Locks it up. The 5-yard line, out of bounds at the 1. Omar Ellison.
Charlie Ward's getting in the groove. The coaches told us the other day, bigger the game, the bigger he plays. Charlie Ward on a 3-step drop. He's going to just hang the ball up in the corner to Omar Ellison. Watch the ball over the shoulder. Very tough to defend by James Trapp, number 27. Here's the release, just a little bit of loft on the ball. It put just the right amount of air under that throw. Calmly says we're down on the 1.
Touchdown, William Floyd. You might know they would run behind the anchor of the offensive line, and it's Robert Stevenson on that left side.
They followed him. He had a good block, Robert Stevenson.
Mowry with the extra point attempt, and he knocks it home.
Number 52, Robert Stevenson, tackle, 6'3", 280 pounds. Look at the whole offensive line just knocked the Clemson defensive front into the end zone. Big key in this is, Ron, is that they were able to sustain the early happenings, the great field position by Clemson. They've got the emotion neutralized now, and they've taken control of this game. Now it's Clemson's turn to come back.
All right, Mike, I just want to remind you of something you said in the opening. You said through the first 7 minutes of the game, if Florida State could get through it, all of a sudden it would be another ball game. That drive, they took it over with 5:54 left on the clock, and all of a sudden, as they moved down the field, the crowd became quieter, and it became a workmanlike drive for Florida State. Very good observation on your part.
Well, thank you, Ron. But remember the fact that all the great field position Clemson had, the great defense that Bobby Bowden's Florida State team played, the interception Charlie Ward threw, they still didn't let them score. And now they've matched the crowd, they've matched everything, they feel good about themselves, confident, now they can just play the football game.
Again, Easton and Larry Ryans back in a deep safety, ready to take this kickoff from Mowry. Lands from the 4. That is a great open field tackle by Matt Fryer, one of the wide receivers. Well, be sure to be tuned to ESPN this Thursday evening. First, it's the weekend kickoff show, which previews all the weekend's action. Then a Big East college football battle between Pitt, led by quarterback Alex Van Pelt, and the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, who won today. Should be a good one from New Brunswick, New Jersey. That's this Thursday on ESPN. Rutgers, by the way, the onus is on them. They have never beaten the Panthers.
I've been there in a couple of those games.
Hall and Ronald Williams will be the setbacks. Williams returning from major knee surgery. Coaches are extremely glad that he's back. Number 25. He's a classy runner. Go with Howard Hall, though, and the big fullback, 240 pounds out of Gastonia, North Carolina, runs head-on into John Nance. And here's a point to make, Mike Gottfried. Already Florida State using a second group on defense as far as the front down people. So they have that luxury with that kind of depth.
They do, Ron. Big offensive line by Clemson. 306-pound left tackle, 294-pound left guard, 272-pound center, 320-pound right guard, 313-pound tackle. So it's size against quickness to Florida State's defensive front.
Well, they average 301 across that offensive line. Timeout will have to be taken by Clemson, as they were almost gotten by the 25-second clock. Michael, as far as this opening quarter is concerned, we talked about the good field position that Clemson had, and they were unable to do anything with it. And you get the feeling here that momentum just a little bit has shifted toward the Noles.
The one thing you have to do is Kenny, have to stay with your game plan, because you're going to win this game if you can run the football and set the pass up. You're not going to win this game if you're Clemson if you throw the football and have to set up your running game. So you stay with what you're doing. You run the football. You throw the out routes to the single receiver side. You just stay with your game plan. It's really early in this football game.
Well, the field position so far for Clemson, the opening kickoff, they took it over at the 21. Then they got it at the Florida State 42 following that turnover. Then at their own 48-yard line, but this time at the 14. Different set of play calling when you're this deep. Bobby Bowden. Take a look at the winningest coaches the last 10 years. Misters Bowden and Hatfield right there. 93 and 93 wins. Somebody's going to leave this ballpark tonight in an advantage situation, aren't they, by one game?
They are, and there's four pretty good people right there. And I've enjoyed my relationship with those four in the coaching field, and nice men.
We'll see Osborne next week against that Washington Husky team. Williams breaks the tackle. 5, has 10. He's off to the races. At midfield, gets a block and knocked out of bounds, and a flag has come down, and that may be clipping at the 40-yard line. Corey Sawyer finally got it.
Ronald Williams is the big play running back of the Clemson offense. He has great vision in the hole. It's like the back that we saw on Thursday night, Marshall Falk. When he's running the football, he sees openings and makes the cuts.
They're going to call that holding rather than clipping. It'll come from the spot. You can see that Williams is limping just a little bit.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. It'll be first down.
We mentioned that Ronald Williams with major knee surgery last December. They weren't sure they were going to have him back this soon, and we'll get a report as he just came limping off the field to the Clemson bench. You can see that. Yep, that's the side that he is favored right there, the right knee, the one that had surgery.
Can't afford to lose him because he's their home run hitter.
Pass incomplete, looking for Smith. Boy, I mean, Moncrief got turned to flip. Brooks was one of the first men through.
Richard Moncrief, the left-handed quarterback, sprinting to the right, gets set. A little pressure from the backside and front side. Troy Sanders, just bad throw.
Also, Sterling Palmer, you can see number 56. He is 6'6".
They have some size. When you take that 6'6" frame and then the wingspan, when you get those hands up in the air, it's tough to throw through those people.
Moncrief is only 6'1". Probably one of the reasons that pass was a little off the mark. Quarterback draw, but it will go nowhere. Caught from behind by Carl Simpson.
You see the quickness of the Florida State defense. That draw play never had a chance to start the execution because so much penetration by Carl Simpson. What Florida State is doing with their defensive line is allowing their defensive line some individual moves. Here you see all the, look at all the changes here. They're going to try to keep the defense fresh against that big offensive line of Clemson, but a lot of individual movements by the defensive linemen.
Well, that is the end of the first quarter. And as we head to break here in Clemson, South Carolina, one more look as Florida State has gone on top 7-0 on this run right here.
At Thrifty Car Rental, we understand how therapeutic vacations can be. Getting away from the little power plays. Reassessing your personal goals. So to help make your vacation a relaxing one, when you're shopping for a rental car, call Thrifty and rent a full-size four-door like the new Chrysler Concorde. Just $34.95 a day.
When I need a car, I always rent from Thrifty. So remember, when it's your money, call 1-800-4CARS.
In my career, I've had a lot of good things happen to me. Of course, there were a few headaches. But that's when I'd reach for a Goody's headache powder. And I'm not alone. In a recent survey, doctors preferred the Goody's Formula 2 by more than 3-to-1 over BC's. And only Goody's beats a headache the way I prefer, in record-breaking time.
All right, makes you feel so good again.
All right, a great man once said, winning, gentlemen, isn't everything, it's the only thing.
I formation, 34 sweep on 2. Got it? Just give the ball to Matt. Tell him to run towards Daddy. Got it?
It starts every September with teams like the Turkey Creek Hawks, the Bronx Eagles, and the Newport Richie Giants. On fields where dads aren't only coaches, and oak trees mark the end zones. And a good day isn't determined by if you win or lose, but where you go after the game. So McDonald's would like to salute the players, the coaches, the families, everyone who helped make this season a perfect season.
Can we go to McDonald's now, Coach?
After the game, Lenny. This is only halftime. Now go sit down.
And that was dinner for our favorite food critic?
Everything was wonderful.
Something else to drink, monsieur?
Yes. Make it a Bud Light, please.
I'm sorry, monsieur. We have run out.
Really? Well, that does change things a bit, doesn't it?
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Billy's Chili. Quaint atmosphere.
Is that a tip or did you just lose some change?
Charming service.
Through the first 15 minutes, Florida State 7-0. Third down, the line to make the 41. Short drop, and boy, we have miscommunication here. Smith had run an out, and that pass as though he was going to fake an out and then run it up.
The impressive thing about Florida State on defense is the pressure that they're getting on Richard Moncrief. They had a bust in the signals. Terry Smith was on a takeoff, but look at the pressure that is coming from the Florida State defensive front.
Reggie Freeman, senior out of Clemson, is the man who delivered that lick. Welch's kick coming down to Sawyer, and it will be out of bounds inside the 15. Adrian Karsten has an injury report for us.
Ron, Clemson trainers tell me that the injury to number 25, Ronald Williams, just a small bruise to the inside of that right bad knee. An adjustment to his knee brace is all it takes to get him back in the game.
Okay, that is good news for Tiger fans. You could see on that one run how important he is to this offense.
Not only is a big play maker, but he's a leader. He's somebody who's a gutsy guy who's going to lead this football team by being on the field.
Jackson, blockers in front, has 5, has 7, 8, and Tim Brando. Let's go to you for a report.
Remember what Tulsa did to Texas A&M last year, and it was because of turnovers. Here, Jeff Granger is stripped by Barry Minter. Big Phil Holmes picks it up, lumbers to the 12. Eric Lang gets a field goal. A&M fumbled again. Tulsa could get 3 more before halftime.
Thanks, Tim. It is amazing how some football teams can be a thorn for another.
I still say they'll be 12-0. Now, I know I'm going out on the limb there, and then a bowl game plus that, but they're 3-3 with Tulsa now, but I still say they'll be 12-0.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. Tim Jones is the player who is down, the sophomore inside linebacker out of Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Ron, I was at that Metro Conference basketball game when Charlie Ward hit that basket to beat Louisville, and when you talk to coaches about a two-sport star, it's very, you have to have 2 coaches that get along in football and basketball. So the respect for Bobby Bowden that Pat Kennedy has and vice versa allows that to be a factor. Now, this year, since he's a starting quarterback, don't expect him back to the basketball team probably until after January 2nd.
And plus the fact Coach Kennedy gets a different product, a bruised body, rather than one last year that didn't play that much. I'm sorry, Coach Kennedy, I had to say that. Short drop and the quick out pass tipped at the line of scrimmage. Ashley Shepard, big number 96, got a hand up and tipped it down.
Got that 6'3" frame, and he was able to get up in the air. The block against him did not, it was good block against him. He just was able to get up and deflect the football. Ashley Shepard, Wayne Simmons, maybe the 2 best pair of defensive outside backers anywhere in the country.
Well, they're certainly imposing in size. Shepard at 6'3", 254, and Simmons at 6'2", 240. Third down. They need a couple. On the pitch, they will have it Sean Jackson. Gets around the corner up to around the 29-yard line.
Back to the I formation. Sean Jackson, number 35, with the lead blocker. William Floyd in front of him for the good yardage.
Patrick McNeil, you also could see him, number 69. He's only a sophomore out of Palmetto, Florida. And he'll get a KO on that one. That's what the coaches will mark down because he hit the man, knocked him right back on his backside. Running play covered nicely. And again, it's 47. Derek Burnett. That's back-to-back tackles for him.
Just thinking about Charlie Ward here. You got a guy that plays football. He decides who gets the football, carries the yards, the passes to him. Basketball, he's the point guard, gets the assists off, and he even picks his student. He's the student government vice president, so he picks the entertainment for the university. He does everything at Florida State.
I talked to him yesterday after the short walkthrough that they had and asked him about his liking between basketball and football. He said it's equal. But probably football was his first love, but he really enjoys basketball now as well. Looking over the middle, nobody there. Wanted Baker, better hurry. Lofts it, fire, the intended receiver incomplete. They're going to say incidental contact there.
I tell you, it looked to me like he got pushed. Charlie Ward with nice touch, you're right. He just barely got the ball off. See the route now develop right in front of us. Here comes number 12, Matt Fryer. Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of incidental,
I think so.
The defensive back was looking at the ball, just kind of ran up his back. Ward now 3 of 8, 54 yards. Crowd coming to their feet. Third down, the line to make the 39. Screen pass, McMillan, and he'll have the first down at the 41-yard line. Robert O'Neill defensively.
We're going to look at this from the end zone. Bobby Bowden's called the screen. Knew he was going to get pressure, but I want you to watch number 17, Charlie Ward, be an actor. He sets up for the drop back pass. There's his 5-step drop. Now he drops a little bit further, gets the screen off to Tiger McMillan, picked up the first down. But nice job acting by the quarterback, Charlie Ward, drawing the rush to him.
Again, they pull the guards, McMillan, and that's a nice play as he is tripped up. Coming to the line of scrimmage, Darren Calhoun, and I believe Barber also, number 12. He's a sophomore out of Edgemore, South Carolina. 6 feet 230.
Ron, the success that Florida State's starting to have with the running game, now look for eventually Charlie Ward to fake the run, roll out into play action, and to be open in the corner to throw or run.
About to go under 12 minutes left in his opening half. It's been a very quick one. Pass near sideline. Fryer has it complete for the first down and in Clemson territory. There was James Trapp who came over to knock him out of bounds.
Play action pass. Watch the offensive right tackle Robert Stevenson and Lewis Tyre, number 66. Look at the pass protection. Nice job in the offensive line, but the little fake throws everybody. And Charlie Ward delivered the pass.
Pressure up the middle, and here's where he can kill you. See, he doesn't get sacked as most quarterbacks would, but he turns a negative into a +4. Calhoun will make the stop on him, and it'll be second down. Mike, here's an interesting number on Ward so far. Every completion that he has thrown has been for a first down.
He's using the 3-step drop, the quick outs. He has been very effective in that game. Kenny Hatfield on the other side. You don't like the looks of this, your defense being on the field this long.
Well, this is the 9th play on this drive. Tiger McMillan on the draw, hit in the backfield by Richard. He'll go nowhere. That is some great defense for the Clemson Tigers.
Al Richards, 6'4", 294, number 69, left of your screen, will make an in move. Here he comes inside. Not blocked, and makes the tackle.
You know, you have to think that maybe Stevens
may have been a bust.
Stevenson must have busted, must have misunderstood the call, but I don't think you'd let him go right there, do you?
No.
Ward drills it, intercepted, and again it's Norris Brown. He's second of the game.
We talked the other day with the coaches at Florida State, and they talked about it's just going to take some time for Charlie Ward. Sometimes he makes some bad decisions, or he'll throw the ball high like he did on this play. Norris Brown picks it off, but you see Charlie Ward starting off in the shotgun, so he has a good look. The ball is just thrown a little bit too high over the intended receiver. Norris Brown just waits for the interception. Now the defense again for Florida State has to respond.
And Clemson comes out in a 2 tight end alignment with an I formation. Moncrief cuts it back against the ground. Will have 7 yards in the play to the 35. Alexander defensively.
Richard Moncrief is a 4-5 sprinter. He's just like an extra running back, even at the quarterback position, because he is so effective running the football. Likes to go to the left side because he's a left-hander.
Well, one of those tight ends comes out of the ball game. Paul Caputo will come in. He is a fullback. And it looks as though, yep, Clemson will go with that stack I formation. 2 fullbacks in the ball game. Ronald Williams tries to cut it back against the grain. The speed of Florida State is there, led by Footman, and he's going to be shy of the first down, I think, by like a yard and a half.
Well, when you play Florida State, if you're going to make cuts, it has to be in the line. Can't be in the backfield because they react too fast, and then there's no misdirection. They're coming after you. They keep substituting in the defensive front. They're trying to keep their defensive front fresh against the Clemson offensive line, who has to play every down on offense.
Here's the situation. Under 9 minutes now to play until halftime. Florida State 7-0. It is third down.
This is a two-down area, I would think, for Ken Hatfield.
Mario Greer, the big freshman out of Charlotte, hit by Marvin Jones, but he will have the Tiger first down.
You're a fullback in Ken Hatfield's offense. You have to knock people down. You have to be a blocker, and every now and then they'll give you the ball just to keep you happy.
That's the first third down conversion by Clemson tonight. They're now 1 of 6. But what a place to get it done. Brown with 2 interceptions in the ball game, and here the Tigers really making some serious noise. Whistles, and that one never got off the ground properly. Greer was handed the ball, but it would appear 5 yards going to be assessed against the Tigers. Attendance tonight, we have just been handed the card, 83,500.
Dead ball foul. False start on the offense. 5 yards, still first down.
Well, Davis just checked into the lineup at wide receiver. Marcus Hinton also checked in at wide receiver. Clemson sent in the wide receivers, tried to cross him up with a running play on 1st and 15, and Williams will go for very short yardage. McIntosh, the big nose guard, junior out of Richardson, Texas, was there to make the stop. Clemson changed after they warmed up. They had on white pants when they warmed up, and they have on what they call the dreaded orange pants. They don't get beat in the orange pants. Florida State said they didn't care what color they're wearing. Pass almost intercepted at the 26-yard line. Boy, Tommy Henry has done one heck of a job on that side of the field.
He almost had the interception. Richard Moncrief rolling to the left, being a left-hander. That's his favorite side. Feels most comfortable coming to the left side. Tommy Henry rolled up and almost picks this pass off. You see Richard Moncrief deliver. Watch Tommy Henry come into your screen. Pretty good defense by Terry Smith, number 24, to keep him from intercepting it.
Smith had 3 catches, you'll remember, in the first 3 minutes of the ball game. But then Henry has just been all over the place as we look at the numbers on Moncrief so far.
I can see something developing here, when you come out and they start to roll up like that. Just take off, the takeoff route.
Pass is incomplete. Gibson. That is 6 incomplete passes in a row. So the line of scrimmage, the 31.
Derek Brooks, number 10. Pretty good coverage here. Got his hands on him. Ty Gibson, number 9. No call. You have to, if you're Florida State now, you have to play your regular defense in here because this is a fake possibility with the ball on the 35-yard line. Now, if you're Clemson, you want to pooch it in or you want to take the fake. Try to pin him inside the 10.
Welch, who does both, angles it for the sideline, but this one's going to go straight away. At the 2, knocked back into the field of play. They're going to say dead at the 1-foot line. James Trapp is the man who got it. And as we go to break, let's take one more look at it. Florida State has got a long way to go.
Isuzu Trooper.
Right on time.
Has been completely redesigned to include a new suspension system.
Honey, pothole.
I see it.
Making for a smooth, quiet ride on the road as well as off. Of course, these days, what's the difference?
If only your tires could talk.
It's so tiring. He babies the car, then abuses me with messy vinyl cleaner. Hey, I'm rubber. No-touch tire care. Ooh, nice foam.
No-touch tire care. The first product to clean, shine, and protect tires in one easy step. No scrubbing, no dirty rags, no mess.
Yeah, clean and shiny. Oh, no. Bad doggy. Go away.
Treat your tires right with no-touch tire care.
Good morning, America!
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wake up, you sleepyhead.
Good morning to you and you and you.
Get up, get out of bed.
Every morning all across America, over 50 million people come to life with Delta faucets.
Live, love, laugh and be happy.
Good morning, good morning.
Delta, the way water is brought to life.
ESPN's presentation of CFA football is brought to you by Isuzu, makers of incredible four-wheel drives. And by No Touch Tire Care. Treat your tires right. Florida State scrimmaging with everybody in their own end zone. And the Seminoles going to go play action. On top, has it, complete to Kez McCord. Well, that's what Bobby Bowden is noted for, and one of the reasons he gives defensive coordinators absolute fits.
But you know what's more important than that? You're right, because he's got that riverboat gambler image. But what's more important to that is to number 17. That's telling Charlie Ward, I got a lot of confidence in you. I'm going to give you the ball in the 1 yard line, throw it out for me. After he threw an interception. Great call by Bobby Bowden.
Well, the Seminoles almost had it cost them. They had no one back on that punt. And that another reason that the Clemson Tigers were able to down that ball at the 1 foot line. Sean Jackson carries a tackler with him, but he'll have 5 to the 30.
Well, you're right, Ron. You're kind of in a bind. When the other team gets to your 35-yard line, you have to respect the fakes, and you have to respect that, so you have to leave your defense on. You can't send anybody back on defense, so that when the ball's kicked, there's nobody back there to fair catch it. So that gives them the opportunity to keep it and kill it inside the 10.
7-0 our score. Florida State. They have not had the best of field averages as far as position tonight. Field position average their own 15-yard line. Ward goes straight ahead on what again looked as though was a miscommunication. Flag is down on the near sideline.
Bobby Bowden talked the other day about loud stadiums jumping offside.
Dead ball foul. Ball start on the offense. 5 yards. Still third.
Tim Brando, an update from you.
The LSU Tigers taking on Mississippi State. Sleepy Robinson trying to wake up. But take a look at this. Daryl McCorvey, that's right, the cousin of Kez McCorvey of Florida State, picks it off. Tigers scoreless in the second quarter.
Well, Timmy, the moments of greatness happened almost at the same time on this Saturday night for the McCorvey family, which is quite a story within itself. By the way, one of the things that has to concern Ken Hatfield right now, the last drive by Florida State was 11 plays. They turned it over, but it was 11 plays. The drive before that, when they scored the touchdown, was 10 plays. That's too long a possession time against your defense as far as wearing them down, Mike.
Good point. Back to the I offense.
Robbie Baker is the center, and you could see the ball snapped again. Now, I don't know that time if Baker thought he was going to catch the Tigers offside or what.
Well, that's exactly what he thought. He saw somebody move offside, and you tell your centers, if you feel somebody's offside, snap the ball, regardless of the calls.
Offside. Off the defense.
We talked about two offenses, the I and the one back set. Now they're in the I offense, but look now, count the Clemson defenders in there. Everybody's inside except two players, and that's what you face when you're an I attack. They want to make the quarterback beat you. When you go to the one back, you spread them out on defense.
5 minutes and 40 seconds left until halftime. Florida State 7-0. He's got it. At the 47-yard line, Shannon Baker with the catch.
And to further make a point, when you're in the eye and they're going to gang up on you and try to make the quarterback beat you, then you have to throw the football, and that's exactly what Charlie Ward was able to do.
Gain of 17 yards.
I know there's a guy at Stanford who did it pretty well, both with the 49ers and in college, but Mr. Bowden throws very well from the I formation, doesn't he?
Oh, he knows the game. Let me tell you something. He understands it in and out.
You see the pressure coming from the outside. Ward delivers it incomplete. And Adrian Karsten has a report for us.
Noise level going up and down, Ron. I'm over here on the Clemson sideline, and I can actually hear Ward calling out the offensive signals now. Great communication between both he and his center. A couple previous plays, he makes this little wave move to the backfield. They know what the count's coming out. Of course, the one we saw recently with communication with the center drawing the defense off sides.
A wave move.
Is that something like they do in the stands?
Second and 10.
We'll get Adrian to further explain that as well, Mike. Throws it out in the flat, just a little too tall. Sean Jackson, the intended receiver.
Boy, it looked like Charlie Ward wasn't sure what he wanted to do with that ball. I'm not sure he wanted to throw the ball to Sean Jackson. It was just a late reaction. He spun around and was able to see him and try to throw the ball to him. But Bobby knows he's going to make mistakes. He's a young quarterback.
And Adrian, back to you.
It's a little bit of a flick of the wrist, Ron, this type of thing right here. All you do is wave to your fullback and your halfback. All right.
Thanks, Adrian. 3rd down and 10. Line to make the 43 of Clemson. To Baker. Almost caught it and almost picked off. Robert O'Neill was there, but Eric Getter was the man with a really good position.
The player that stopped that play was Wayne Simmons, number 49, the great outside linebacker. That was a throwback pass all the way. Sprint Charlie Ward to the right, throw all the way back to the left. Wayne Simmons read it, was there. That's why he was not able to go back. He had to go down the field with the ball.
Robert O'Neill, from Clarkston, Georgia, back in a single safety. Line drive by Wimberly. Very returnable, but there are white jerseys every direction he tries to go. 36 yards on the punt and 3 on the return. We'll be right back.
Something to drink, sir?
Yeah, make it a Bud Light.
Sorry, we just ran out.
Oh. Excuse me.
Bud Light? Try Flight 261 out of L.A.
Oh, thank you.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Do you have a Bud Light?
Yes. Welcome aboard, sir.
Great. Where are we going?
The new Isuzu Trooper has been completely redesigned to be as smooth and comfortable as possible, especially where you feel it the most. Introducing the new Trooper Lease. See your participating Isuzu dealer for details. The new Isuzu Trooper has been completely redesigned with a powerful new V6 engine, gripping new suspension. Well, it's even easier to get into. Introducing the new Trooper Lease. See your participating Isuzu dealer for details.
Blue skies or gray skies, I'll always be around. You can rely on me. I'll never let you down.
Whatever little surprises life has in store for you, one thing you can always rely on is the energy-efficient warmth of a Tempstar furnace.
You can rely on me.
Rely on the star. Tempstar.
Saturday, Syracuse wrestles with Ohio State in a primetime CFA matchup, live at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN.
7-0 our score. The Clemson Tigers trying to get that offense on track. They have had good field position for the most part in this first half, just have not been able to do anything with it. Stack eye formation as the pitch back goes to Blunt, and he'll have 5. Clifton Abraham, sophomore from Dallas, trips him up.
Uh-oh. There's my 12-0 teams down 6-3. Could I be wrong on that? I don't think so.
No, I don't think you are. No, A&M is legitimate. I don't think there's any question about that.
I'm down to 2 quarters, though.
They've got a couple of tailbacks that can make that up in no time. The big fullback, he is blasted. That's John Nance, who's a junior from Bartow, Florida. Right there, just as Mario Greer took the handoff, and he sends him backwards.
John Nance is the second-team nose guard, so the substitutions again are paying off for Florida State.
Well, that's one of the things we mentioned that Mickey Andrews talked about, that they have no qualms about putting that second unit in and having a drop-off in quality. They don't feel they do.
Well, there's only 2 teams in the last 5 years that have ranked in the top 5 in recruiting services and recruiting classes, Notre Dame and this Florida State bunch. So you know they got players.
Third down, Clemson needs 5. Whoa, a little hitch and go. Smith tripped up, that'll be pass interference. Corey Sawyer got tangled up with him. Going to give him the first down, but Mike, that's not a bad penalty considering if Smith had stayed afoot, he might have just walked to the end zone.
Earlier we talked about the quick out that was almost picked off, and we said now's the time to run the out and up, and that's exactly. Terry Smith was open. There's Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator. He's yelling at the official. Richard Moncrief on the roll. There's the little pump fake. Now the takeoff route. You see the Florida State defender, number 31, just falls into Terry Smith.
You know what?
I don't know that he intentionally.
Actually, I think he got pushed a little bit. Yeah, they got tangled up, and he just fell in front of him. Well, those are the penalties last week. It really has not been a problem for Florida State tonight. Only 2 penalties for 20 yards, and as I mentioned, with the current college rule, it might not have been a real bad penalty, like a good foul in basketball. Straight up the middle of the tailback. They'll have a couple. We're about to go under 3 minutes to play until halftime. Florida State's still 7-0 leading in this one.
You saw the graphic where Florida State had 16 penalties against Duke last week. This is their first year in the ACC, so this is their first year with the ACC officials. They have to get used to the officials just like the officials get used to them, but they were with the Southern Independent Officials Association, so it's a whole new group of officials that are going to see this Florida State team in the ACC.
Blunt, and he'll catch it behind the line of scrimmage as he was going down. It's going to be 3rd down, and Clemson's going to lose about 4.5 on that play.
What is apparent in the first half is the quickness advantage that Florida State has in the defensive line. Todrick McIntosh, 94. With good pressure.
Also, you can see Nance slipping through there. 3rd down, the line to make is midfield. Pass is intercepted. Tommy Henry up the far sideline. Down inside the Clemson 35-yard line.
Remember the last time there was a turnover. Bobby Bowden came right back with a reverse pass. Don't be surprised he tries to home run him here.
29 yards on the return. We'll take a break. We'll be right back to Clemson in a moment.
Finger's 65th anniversary sale is here with savings of 21 to 47% and 0% interest. No down payment, no payments till March 1993. We're saying thank you with once-a-year savings on virtually everything in Houston's largest home furnishing selection. See the newest innovations in the entire furniture world in the easiest to shop furniture stores in America. Buy with 0% interest. No down payment, no payments till March 1993. Now at all Finger stores.
Do you know the Muffler Man, the Muffler Man, the Muffler Man?
Folks around Houston have been singing the praises of Mike's Muffler and Brake since the 50s.
I first came to Mike back in 1958. At the time, I had a 56 Ford, and he put a muffler on it that outlasted the car. Mike's all right.
My husband told me to go to Mike. His work is great. He can be trusted. My car was ready in just 30 minutes, and I got a lifetime guarantee.
Mike's Muffler and Brake, the very first specialist in Houston. 5 convenient locations.
It's a Big East feast when a hungry Rutgers squad gets put to the test against high-powered Pitt. Thursday night, live college football on ESPN in a class by itself.
Hi, I'm Chris Berman. Join us at our usual time for NFL Game Day, Sunday, noon Eastern time. We'll take a look at that big matchup between the 49ers and Bills. Doesn't Bruce Smith look good? Dennis Green of the Vikings. He's on a roll. And a rare interview with Mark Bavaro.
The look at the back of Tommy Henry. We had mentioned that he had been doing a very good job in the first half. He got the interception. As you can see, Mickey Andrews coming over to give him a hug. Also, Sterling Palmer, credit him with part of that because he forced the pressure. Ward throwing long. He just throws it away. Wayne Simmons, number 49, applying pressure. Now coming up at halftime as we have only 1:39 showing on the clock here. The Delta Faucet report. Michigan at Notre Dame. Awfully good one. Tulsa at LSU. We're going to talk more about that ball game. Tulsa and LSU, we should say. Some of the things coming up at halftime tonight. Pass, sings it over the middle, complete to Fryer, gets by one tackler, and still driving to the 13-yard line. O'Neal will finally stop him.
Florida State runs a crossing route. You're going to see two receivers cross underneath to get the linebackers, but then the receiver, Fryer's going to come from the left-hand side. Opened it up, the linebackers took the cross route.
Ward, still scrambling, zips it over the middle, incomplete. He was looking for Kez McCorvey, and he almost zinged it a little too much, Mike, from very close range.
They're rolling Charlie Ward out, making the rush, trying to find him, that he's not always as a drop-back quarterback, moving to the right, moving to the left.
Dumps it out, complete at the 10-yard line, and Knox will be stopped right there.
Blitz all the way by Clemson. Trying to put pressure on Charlie Ward. He just raised up, threw to the quick outlet receiver, Kevin Knox.
And you can see Florida State wants a timeout. The incomplete, or the pass play out of bounds did stop the clock, so we'll take a break with them. 70 seconds until halftime, and the Noles looking for more points.
I'm a big man.
Why do so many men stick with Bic?
I'm a big man.
Because there's a Bic for every beard. Bic Regular, a great shave at a great price.
I'm a big man.
Bic Sensitive, Bic Baby's tender skin. Bic Metal, slim head, total control.
Yeah, I'm a big man.
I'm a big man.
Regular, sensitive, metal.
I'm a big man.
It's great. They fixed up that old truck, went out for their big driving lesson. You know, they'll never forget this day as long as they live.
Here's to fathers and sons, first-time driving lessons and comfortable blue jeans. Wrangler.
Inside Sports. Get your copy today before they're all sold out.
Here's the situation. It is a third down at the 12-yard line. 1:10 left until halftime.
Alert for the quarterback draw and the scrambling ability of Charlie Ward.
Pressure up the middle, and they tried to run that middle screen with Matt Pryor, and he couldn't hold on to it.
Kenzel Jackson, number 13, was right there, so it would not have worked.
Here are the numbers on Charlie Ward in the first half. 9 of 21 for 139 yards and 2 interceptions. He also has 5 rushes for 33 yards. Mowry, 2 of 3 last week, and this will be a 29-yard attempt. And now Clemson's going to talk it over, maybe put a little ice on him here. That's their final timeout of the first half. One of the things also that happened just a couple of plays before that third down there, Brenson Buckner, the very fine nose guard for Clemson, injured a knee and had to come out of the ball game. We are efforting a report on him, but he's a guy that they can't play the second half without. That would be a very serious loss for Clemson. We'll have one after halftime. I've just been told from the truck that they have taken Buckner to the locker room already. And they're going to check him over, so when they come back out in the third quarter, right after halftime, we'll get a report for you. .29-yard attempt. He got it. 1:02 left until halftime, and it is Florida State 10 and Clemson nothing. All of a sudden, 83,500 folks, most of them anyway, go silent. And Mike, it's been because of the efforts of the Florida State defense in this first half.
Defense came to play, and they took the momentum right away from the Clemson team and the crowd.
Well, be sure to join Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, and Joe Theismann tomorrow morning for television's most comprehensive pregame show, NFL Game Day. They'll have all the previews and features to set you up for your NFL Sunday. Then at 7 o'clock, the crew returns for the most complete NFL wrap-up and highlight show on television, NFL Primetime. That's all tomorrow, right here on ESPN.
I don't think this Florida State team fears any road game. They're a great road team, and they still got a half to play and a half to play, a great football team, but it just seems like they respond well on the road.
Look at Charlie Ward on the sideline as he talks things over. That's Ryans, one of the 2 deep men for the Tigers. Lance Easton is the man to his right. No, Mike, I agree with you. Last year they went to Ann Arbor and played. They have been to some tough places to play. Fair catch has been signaled and made at the 32-yard line. Franklin Thomas, one of the backup tight ends, makes the catch as Moncrief visits with his head coach. And you could bet that Kenny Hatfield and his staff will come up with something brewing for the third quarter.
Can't afford a turnover here, but you still have enough time with a minute to get your ball club offensively moving.
Moncrief tries to set up the middle screen. Greer belts his way across the 45 to the 47-yard line. John Davis defensively, and now Clemson with no huddle. 52 seconds showing on the clock.
Complete to Mario Greer. Tackle made by John Davis. First
Zooms the pass complete. Near sideline to Witherspoon. Derrick falls out of bounds as he makes the catch. 45 seconds showing until halftime.
Clemson really could go back to the huddle here because the timeout was called because he was out of bounds.
Or the clock was stopped, yeah.
He's still going from the line of scrimmage.
Sidearm goes for the interception, doesn't get it. Witherspoon has the catch, and he will have the first down. Boy, you could see coming out of nowhere, Abraham was trying to pick that thing up and go 60 for a score, and his timing was just a little bit off. So the Tigers get the first.
Went for the interception the whole way. Didn't miss it by much.
Official timeout.
Well, they're going to bring the chains all the way across the way.
This gives you time to go back in the huddle, call 2 plays. Now Clemson retreats to the huddle to be able to call 2 plays and then go to the line of scrimmage.
And he does have the first down, but the officials, actually the defensive captain can ask for a measurement if it's close. Maybe that's what happened, but this actually is an aid to Clemson here.
By the board. Now Clemson doesn't have any timeouts remaining, so they have to use the sideline to get the clock stopped. Sideline, incomplete pass.
First and 10.
Can't afford a sack.
At the Florida State 43.
Checks in the pocket. Blitz is coming. Puts it on top. Well overthrown. And he just had to get rid of it. Florida State was coming with a safety blitz. John James, you see him there. He really unloaded on Moncrief just as the ball was thrown.
John Davis, 18. I keep thinking of that Al Davis comment that he made on ESPN. The quarterback must go down and must go down hard. But Richard Moncrief just went down hard.
Blitz up the middle this time. Juggled. It's caught by Witherspoon. And because of the juggling of the ball, he couldn't get it out of bounds. So the clock continues to run.
Florida State will let them have those short passes as long as they can make the tackle without them getting out of bounds.
Gibson, his tight end, and he will be stopped at the 30-yard line.
Now the first down will stop the chains. Quarterback's got to kill the clock now to get the field goal team on.
Waiting for that umpire to let go of the football. He does. Whistled in. And that'll stop the clock with 4 seconds left. Nelson Welch will come on. Longest 47 yards, and this one is going to be placed down at just about that distance. If he hits it, it will equal his best.
That has to be a good confidence builder for the offense. They're able to get down there to give you the opportunity for 3. Now Florida State, with just 4 seconds to go, really has to pump it up inside to try to block field goal.
Good pass. Does he have the distance? It hit the crossbar and goes through. Oh, what a finish for Clemson. They head to the locker room. Let's take one more look. We said it equals his best. And here's that extra grain of cereal this morning. Look at this, Mike. Bang, right on the crossbar, and it goes through.
He had his Wheaties today because he was able to get it right through.
So let's take a break. We are at halftime in Clemson, South Carolina. The Tigers are on the board. It's 10-3.
No matter how many little surprises life throws your way, there's one thing you can count on: the comfort of a TempStar heating and cooling system. Find out how you can rely on TempStar. Just pick up the phone and call. We'll send you a free brochure that answers all your questions about.
We're at halftime. It is Florida State 10 and Clemson 3, and just what we expected here in the first half of play. A lot of great defense, Mike. I guess you have to say, though, that right now the Seminoles have had the better part of that defense.
I think you can, and the biggest key so far has been the turnovers. When you look at both teams with 2 turnovers, and the interceptions have been big, and of course the 1 fumble recovery. And I think the key for Clemson, for them to win this football game, 83 yards rushing, they have to be able to run the football. Got to get more yardage there. And then you look, Florida State 17 carries for 54 yards. If in the 4th quarter they can wear Clemson down, then the running game will appear.
Well, we have found out that there have been a couple of very big injuries, one to each side in that first half. Let's go down to the field, and Adrian Carson has a report on that. Adrian.
Well, Ron, that first half, a very physical first half, and it's taken its toll on both defenses. First of all, to Marvin Jones, who's been fighting the flu all week long. Thought he was over it yesterday. For the past half hour now, he's in the Florida State defense again on intravenous fluids. His situation for the second half is doubtful. but may play, I am told. Secondly, to Brenson Buckner, the middle guard for Clemson, a deep right knee injury, possibly a hyperextension. He is doubtful for the second half.
All right, Adrian, we mentioned at the tail end of that first half that was a guy that they could ill afford to lose, and I guess Marvin on the other side is just as important as far as Florida State. 10-3. Florida State leads it as we open the second half of play. Sane will kick it off for Clemson. Oh, what a great night for football. Temperature going down into either the upper 50s, around 60 degrees. Wind has not been a factor. The last time they played up here, just a torrential rain all day long. Weather's not been a factor in this one. Just hard licks. Somebody's kick. Line drive. It's going to be Tiger McMillan. 3 yards deep. Wanted to return it. And Felix Harris said, nope, stay right there. Now let's compare the quarterbacks in that first half of play. Mike?
Well, both quarterbacks off to a shaky start in the first half. And both of them will settle down a little bit here in the second half. But Richard Moncrief's game is to run the football. His team has to run the football. Charlie Ward, I believe Bobby Bowden will just continue to let him open it up. Good defense causes some poor execution at times.
Well, we've just been told that Buckner is in the lineup to start this second half. So we'll see how long he can last. Jackson of the run. He'll be hit for a loss. Wayne Simmons.
Brenson Buckner, number 89. Watch the block of Clay Shiver. Look at him work, get up the football field. Now he tried to go around, which is a mistake. Wayne Simmons is out there to make the play. He's a load, 6'3", 310.
You can see that big wrap on his leg. Caught by Baker. Tried to turn it upfield. Bumped out of bounds by Eric Getter at the 24. And the Seminoles look at a third down, and they need the 30-yard line.
Would like to come out of the locker room at halftime and be able to sustain the offense, get a couple first downs, and try to take the wind out of the Clemson sail. Again, they're coming back out after halftime after that field goal kick, so they're sky high again. And the fans are back in this ballgame. Florida State had success with the crossing routes underneath and then opening up the deep in route. Watch number 15, Robert O'Neill, read the quarterback. Charlie Warden sitting center field. Now he's playing a robber position there. He's robbing that inside route of Shannon Baker. Sat right on it and picked off the interception.
Boy, what a great opportunity for Clemson to open the second half. Third interception off Ward. Blunt gets the corner. Hurdles a man, and he's close to the first down around the 12-yard line. Don't ask yourself how badly these kids want this ball game. That run right there explains it all.
This is Clemson's game. It's the option. You fake the toss one way, come back with the option to Rodney Blunt, get outside. That's what they do best. Run the football and run the option.
First down, Clemson. They will give him a gain of 11. He is down to the 11-yard line. Stack eye again by Clemson, the two fullbacks. Ware with the handoff, and he'll take it inside the 10 to the 9. It's Derek Brooks, number 10, who steps up to make the hit.
They're going to. It looks like they're going to stay in the stack eye. Get the extra blocker. You've got two blockers ahead of the tailback. If you want to give the ball to the tailback, you've got misdirection, and you have one-on-one on the outside with the one receiver. It's in the game.
Dwayne Bryant, the junior who is from Tallahassee, plays for Clemson, brings in the play from the bench.
Now they're going to the eye. Brought in a receiver, took out one fullback.
Straight ahead, muscles his way to the 6-yard line, and then Carl Simpson and Leon Fowler come up to deny any further progress.
I would think at halftime that Kenny Hatfield and his staff sat down with his football team and said, listen, we threw the ball in the first half and we opened it up, but the second half, let's run the football. We have a run right at Florida State. We're trying to go wide. We can't. Let's run the football inside and try to take the option.
And Mike, they're running to the right side, which is the veteran side of the line, behind Siggers and Les Hall.
Senior and junior. Good point, Ron.
Pass in the end zone, incomplete. Henry had the cover on Ryans, and Ryans was falling down as he made his cut. All right, Mike, it's 4th. Do you go for the 3?
I think Kenny Hatfield's already made his decision. He wants to pick up some points against this Florida State defense.
Bobby Bowden is the master of the fake. Keep in mind that Lance Easton, number 17, is a quarterback. So that alternative is there. This is a 24-yard attempt right in front. Kick is up and he's good. So the Tigers on the scoreboard again. It's 10-6, and Tim Brando with an update for us. Timmy.
All right, Ron, quickly in the U.S. Open, we told you at halftime that it appeared that Pete Sampras was on his way to beating Jim Courier. He did. He won 6-2 in the final set, so he wins 3 sets to 1 and advances into the finals against Stefan Edberg. Stay with us. We've got a lot more college football to cover. Let's get back to you.
Well, Sampras playing as well as anybody on the men's side going into that tournament. Boy, that's a heck of a final. Edberg needing 5 sets his last 2 matches to get into the finals. So that one will be a dandy.
You're a tennis fan, aren't you?
Yeah. Ron Franklin, along with Mike Gottfried and the large one, Adrian Karsten from Clemson, South Carolina. They are standing, chanting, and cheering. This is the one they've been waiting on since the schedules came out.
Ron, even though the fans are cheering and everybody's up, that was a win for the Florida State defense.
Think so?
Yes, sir. Give them only 3 on the turnover like that. You give them the ball inside. You see Larry Vanderheyden, the offensive coordinator, going over blocking schemes. A win. You bring your defense over and you say, hey, men, we did the job. We gave them 3. We'd like to stop them from anything, but hey, we didn't let them in the end zone. Still got the lead.
Reggie Freeman on the sideline talking over with one of his fellow defensive players how he feels about it. Sauve will kick it off again for the Clemson Tigers. Only takes 3 steps, but he really boots that thing a long way. This is McMillan, fumbles it at the 1. Good coverage teams, which Clemson has, anytime you fumble the football, you're lucky to get it back to the 15, and there's the case.
Well, your kicking team can build momentum for you also, and the Clemson kicking team just came off the field and started this defense with a good field position against Florida State. You know one thing, though? Bobby Bowden believes in his quarterback. He's not going to get shy. Remember the last time he threw an interception, he came right back and let him throw from the 1-yard line.
Jackson out across the 15 to the 20-yard line, tripped up by Kinzel Jackson.
Florida State offensive line, Clay Shiver blocking against Buckner, but he gets some help. They ended up double teaming on Buckner. Good read by Sean Jackson. Picks up good yardage.
Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Keep your eye on Buckner. Even though he's back in the game, I understand he's got a lot of trouble moving laterally.
Jackson's very close to the first down, and it's Buckner who makes the stop. Tim Jones came over to help him, but you can see him getting off the turf last. Shepard also was there.
talk about Robert O'Neill, Ron Dickerson, the defensive coordinator, who's coached at some great places, Colorado, Clemson, Penn State, Pittsburgh, says that there's no doubt in his mind Robert O'Neill's the best defensive back he's ever coached. There's Ron Dickerson, the defense coordinator. His son caught a touchdown pass tonight at the Arkansas game. Plays at the University of Arkansas.
Wide receiver, very good football player. Running play to the right side and first down, maybe 1 yard. And Tim Brando, another update from you. What do you have?
Ron, the Aggies are finally coming alive at Kyle Field. Jeff Granger, it seems he gets better as the games roll on. Here he finds Greg Hill, his second touchdown of the second half, but Tulsa hanging tough, down by 7 in the fourth quarter.
Hill is one of the tailbacks we were talking about, and of course Thomas is the other. That's as good a tandem. I know Nebraska's got a couple of good ones, but A&M, Hill and Thomas can stand up with the best of them, I think. Don't you?
Plus, that defense may be the best defense in the country.
Wow.
And one of them. Let's put it that way.
And when Buckley is healthy, it does make a difference for the Aggies. Little play action. Put it on his hip. Delivers the pass. Tipped it. It is intercepted. James Trapp. They will not catch him. The Olympic hurdler will score.
Florida State's fourth turnover. Ball was thrown high again by Charlie Ward.
The point attempt is up, and it's good. And let's take a look at the replay. I talked about Trapp, and I said they may try to go after him. Mike, he's an Olympic hurdler, and watch the speed when he gets into the open field.
He becomes a running back. Charlie Ward just a little too high on his throw, but look at the running back ability of James Trapp.
See those knees come up? You knew they were not going to catch him at that juncture.
He was headed for the finish line.
Timeout on the field. The Tigers with their first lead of the night.
A recent university study confirms something that has millions of asthma sufferers breathing easier. Clinical tests showed Primatene tablets help keep asthma sufferers breathing freely for hours. Primatene tablets, with the asthma reliever doctors recommend.
Quality motor oil can go a long way toward protecting against engine wear. But by adding STP oil treatment, it can go even further, because STP increases even the best oil's viscosity by up to 50%. It's that simple.
The PB in PB Max doesn't mean penguin black belt. Nope, the PB means peanut butter, covered in milk chocolate with a hearty crunch in every bite. PB Max, we mean peanut butter.
When you get the new car?
What car? You know what car? No, what car? Did you just get a raise? Would need a raise to buy that car.
What car?
The Toyota Tercel, starting at $71.98. It's the lowest price two-door sedan you can buy.
What do you want? What makes you think I want something? You're my brother.
Could I borrow the car?
Tom? Not funny, Tom.
Tercel, today's answer to life's little hang-ups.
Tension headaches this bad need a pain reliever this good. New extra strength Darnitol with Ease a Migraine.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going.
ESPN's presentation of CFA football is brought to you by Toyota, reminding you to always buckle up. Do it for those who love you. And by Anheuser-Busch, who proudly brings you Family Talk. Let's stop underage drinking before it starts. Now they are cheering and chanting even louder. Now they are doing the chant back to Florida State. Charlie Ward, 4 interceptions, 109 yards returned as he talks with his head coach. McMillan at the goal line. Mike, let's take another look at the touchdown.
James Trapp number 27, is going to go back into zone coverage. But what's going to happen is both Florida State receivers are going to get in the same area in the short side of the field. There's really no place for Charlie Ward to throw this ball. See, both receivers are covered. And there's the interception by Trapp.
Now let's run this thing full speed. Well, that's a look at Charlie Ward on the sideline. Trapp, with the kind of speed that he has, once he bumped off the tackler, you knew nobody was going to catch him at that point. Sean Jackson. Kinzel Jackson steps up to make the hit. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
If you guys can hear me at all, first of all, the decimal meter is way off the end of the meter here, just picking up at the end. Plus, Clemson defense is going back in the game with the instructions 3 and out. The game is now in your hands.
What the crowd is doing right now, they are doing the Florida State chant, but they are using it to Florida State's disadvantage because the Seminoles obviously are trying to hear their own offense. Flags go down as the pass is thrown out to Fryer.
Your attention, Michael McCoy, Raider of Cullowhee, North Carolina. Michael McCoy, Raider of Cullowhee, North Carolina.
That ball foul. Delay of game on the offense.
Ron, this barrage against Florida State started with that field goal just before half. The 2-minute drill, the field goal. Good adjustments at halftime. They came out. Then their special teams stuck Florida State down the hole. Then their defense took over with the 2 interceptions. So give this change to the field goal to the defense and the special teams of Clemson.
Great point. 13-10 if you've just joined us. Tigers lead. Pass incomplete. It's thrown short. Mike, tell me something. We always talk about quarterbacks throwing on rhythm. I have felt as though all night that even though Ward has played well and with his athletic ability has done some great scrambling and throwing, that he has not been on rhythm with his throws all night.
No, he hasn't. He's inexperienced, though, so he's going to make those mistakes. He's going to have on-the-job training this year as the season goes. But he'll turn into one of the country's best in quarterbacks before the year's over. Something they have to do in that one-back settle is they have to get some type of running game going. And then the one-back, they're throwing the football all the time, but they have to get some run game going to slow Clemson's defense down.
So they do not get another delay of game penalty. Timeout called by Florida State. We'll take it with them. 13-10, Clemson on top.
Some days it goes your way. You've got the style, you've got the say. Some days you're out of sight. You've got the dream and you've got the ride.
A great day calls for a great beer. The Michelob beers. With that smooth classic taste you don't find every day.
Michelob some days. Michelob some days. Michelob some days are better than others.
Good morning, America!
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wake up, you sleepyhead. Good morning to you and you and you. Get up, get out of bed.
Every morning all across America, over 50 million people come to life with Delta faucets.
Live, love, laugh and be happy. Good morning, good morning.
Delta,
good
the way water is brought to life.
It's been almost 2 hours.
Tom.
He was just going to the store, wasn't he?
No, Kevin.
He does this every time. He's your brother.
Well, you gave him the keys.
The Toyota Celica, rated by brothers-in-law everywhere as their favorite car to borrow.
I think I see headlights.
Saturday, Syracuse wrestles with Ohio State in a primetime CFA matchup, live at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Third down, the line to make the 31-yard line of Florida State. Pumps it once, he's got him wide open, and Fryer is just overthrown at midfield. I mean, Fryer looked like the first guy out to the workout.
I'm going to tell you, there wasn't anybody with Matt Fryer. It's one Charlie Ward would like to have back. Matt Fryer, number 12 on the post route, fools the defensive back. Norris Brown, number 23, ball just thrown too far.
John Wimberly looking at Robert O'Neill as the deep man. Another good coverage kick. Not real long, but very high. O'Neill at the 46 with the fair catch. Well, tonight's Toyota Leadership Award winners are from Florida State, Derek Brooks. He's a sophomore from Pensacola, carries a 315 as a communications major and volunteers for the Say No to Drugs program. And from Clemson, John Harris. He's a graduate student from Roxbury, North Carolina. He graduated with a 3.3 in management. He also participates in Clemson's community outreach program. Toyota, proud to donate $1,000 to each school's General Scholarship Fund. Straight ahead with the fullback. Clemson continues to work that and try to establish it. Hall for a couple.
Ron, this is like since the half started, it's like a snowball against Florida State going down the hill, picking up momentum. Somebody has to step in front of them. You hope they don't get run over, but it has to be the Florida State defense right now.
To back up what you're saying, if Florida State was 4 of 6 in third down conversions, since then 0 of 5.
Here's somebody who'll step in front of that snowball. Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones on the other side of the line. Buckner having to play with an injury. Marvin is ill, but he's going to have to play. Cut back into the middle, and the middle backers both step right up. And just as we talk about him, look who's off the bottom of the stack. 55, Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones, whose brother was a linebacker, he idolized him. Has those high goals, just steps underneath the block and makes the play.
Well, these were his numbers last week. 13 tackles, a sack, a fumble recovery, and a quarterback KO. And tonight, because of being ill, those numbers don't add up to that, but that last tackle was very big for the Noles. Third down. They need the 44 of Florida State. It's caught. Smith, and he breaks up the tackle and picks up 7 more. Sawyer got it.
You get the running game going, then you force no underneath coverage on the outside. Corey Sawyer, number 8, is against Terry Smith, number 24. It's one-on-one out here. Richard Moncrief gets a little bit more on the ball on the out route and completes it for good yardage in the first down.
The big fullback, and he gets stood up. That's Derek Brooks, who's at the top of the pile. You can see Alexander, number 36, at the bottom of the pile.
Susan Elmore, your attention please.
You were talking about Marvin Jones and his brother, who he idolizes. He is now a policeman, and the story goes that they still put on the pads and go one-on-one in the backyard from time to time.
That's the only thing disappointing about it. They need to take the pads off. I know Marvin's got a little youth on his brother, but take the pads off.
They probably have done that as well. 6:50 left in the third quarter. Clemson 13-10. First man through with a big opening, and Hall will have it all the way down to the 29-yard line.
The threat of the option outside. They put formation into the short side of the field. You see the tight end over the short side. There's just a quick give to the fullback. What Clemson was able to do there is take big splits, block down. That opened up the fullback.
That time running off the youth side of the offensive line. Lejeune and Jeff Fortman. Straight ahead with the carry. I don't know. From the outside where the linesman has marked him, I don't think Greer got that first down on the third down carry.
Now, it's going to be an interesting call for Ken Hatfield. I think he has to go for this. 4th and short. And I think he will go for it.
Reggie Freeman made the defensive play, and they're going to line up for a field goal.
Yep, so much for that. What Kenny Hatfield wants to do, here's his thinking. His defense is playing very well. He's got the offense of Florida State frustrated. Put 3 more points on the board.
I also would suggest keep an eye on Lance Easton, number 17. This is a 46-yard attempt. Yep, there, and it's an option. Pitches it back, and they're going to have the first down plus 5. Welch played 5 positions in high school. He is an excellent athlete as well as Easton.
They decided to go for the 4th down on the option, Ron. That was good point by you. And what they like most of this is not only that they got the first down, but they did it against Florida State, who did the same thing with a kicking game against them.
And now a personal foul against Florida State. Easton is a quarterback, so the pitch with the left hand is no problem to him.
How about the punter? Place kicker, Nelson Welch, picks up the first down.
Played 5 positions in high school, but he wanted to be a kicker. And as a punter and a place kicker, his wealth is great. And now Clemson with a quick huddle into the line of scrimmage, and the umpire steps in and says, nope, you can't snap it yet. Block straight ahead. He'll go for 1. Greer, beg your pardon, Footman on the bottom of that pile.
The way Florida State's playing on offense, erratic as they are right now, Florida State's defense must hold them at least to a field goal. Kenny Hatfield with a nice call on the 4th down.
Greer again goes for short yardage. Now, the last time Florida State was up here, they won the ball game off the ever famous Ruski, and so now Bobby is down a Ruski to his counterpart across the way, Ken Hatfield.
I think they're probably even now, 1 apiece.
One apiece.
But of course,
the night's not over for Bob.
That's right. That's right. You have to think option here to pass to Terry Smith if they get him one-on-one. He's going to be at the top of the screen.
Ronald Williams comes in, number 25, man at the top of the hour. Ball is fumbled off the snap and has been picked up by Clifton Abraham. Off to the races, and he may go the distance. Abraham up from behind at the 40-yard line.
Play blew up from the start, Ron. The key play was Ronald Williams, though. The effort that he made to track down Clifton Abraham, number 2. But the play just blew up from the start. The snap just doesn't seem to get back. Then the ball gets kicked out by the Florida State defensive lineman. Nobody knows where it's at. Clifton Abraham, number 2, picks it up. Game saver, Ronald Williams, number 25. Look at him gain on number 2, Clifton Abraham.
And Williams, number 25, saved the touchdown. That was a 51-yard return. Now 10 for Tiger McMillan, and they have made a change at quarterback. Danny Cannell, number 13, the freshman out of Fort Lauderdale, has come into the ball game, and about the only thing we know on him as far as numbers, since he is only a freshman, is he's a 4-point student.
Well, that helps. Because what he's coming into may be his toughest class right now.
Running play straight ahead. McMillan is going to have the Florida State first down. It's Forney down on the bottom of the stack. Look at Charlie Ward on the sideline, and this is an unfamiliar situation for that young man. Whether it's football, whether it's basketball, can see Adrian standing there behind, checking to see if there is, in fact, an injury on Charlie Ward.
I think you'll see Charlie Ward back in.
Let's go down to Adrian and get that report. What do you got there, big fella?
Coach, you may not see Charlie Ward anymore. No injury. I'm told he's thrown 4 interceptions. That's the reason he's out.
Well, that man right there who was gesturing toward the field knows when to go to the pen as well as anybody, and he has gone to the bullpen for a freshman.
I still believe Charlie Ward will re-enter this game. As I said about Texas A&M, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, there he comes, and you saw him put on his headgear.
Hey, he's too good an athlete. That guy's been in arenas, boy. He's thrown some basketball shots and passes, but you're not going to give up on him on 4 interceptions. Believe me.
Third down and short. They're going to throw back to Ward, or wanted to. Jackson running for his life, and he will be knocked down for the loss. Robert O'Neill.
What Florida State thought is that they would catch Clemson in man-for-man coverage. If you catch somebody in man-for-man coverage, the one guy that you don't cover in man-to-man coverage is the quarterback. Here's the pitch. He's going to go out for the pass, but you see both Clemson defenders read this and play Charlie Ward.
Well, the guy that you'd have to credit for it, O'Neill made the tackle, but it was Kinzel Jackson who turned the whole thing around, disrupted it, and a timeout has been called by Florida State. 2:15 left in the third. Tigers by 3.
In Fort Worth, a new pickup helped the Dixons turn weekend projects into profits. In Tyler, we helped the Mitchells put down roots in their neighborhood. And in Wichita Falls, a hatchback allowed Deborah Carver's son to start college with more than just new towels. Nations Bank loan specialists have helped people all across Texas with car loans, loan refinancing, and loans for home improvements. Come see how Nations Bank can give you the power to make a difference in your life.
God's grace is always there.
I wasn't trying to protect you. I don't know.
The Pennant Chase is in your face on ESPN. See our Tuesday night twin bill. Wednesday night excitement. Friday night doubleheader. And America's Game of the Week, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Sunday night, Ryan Sandberg powers the Cubs. The Wizard Ozzie Smith sparks the Cardinals. Live at 8 Eastern on America's Game of the Week, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
Welcome back. That tells the story. 2:15 left in the third. It is 4th down, Florida State. They need the 29-yard line. Ward will run. He'll have the first down and stumbles inside the 25-yard line.
The threat of the run. They ran a dash series that the Washington Redskins made famous. Sets up his drop back. Now you see him on a roll. Sees that there's no receivers open. Picks up the first down. Good heady play here. Confidence of Bobby Bowden in the quarterback.
Lewis Tyre is the man who's injured. He's a freshman left guard. Ward now 4 scrambles for 33 yards. Another dimension that he does give you. I would remind you, although this is a very young offensive line, Florida State's offensive lines are not accustomed to blocking for scramblers. It's been a very long time since Bobby had that kind of quarterback.
It's a different quarterback for him. But
and it's different work as far as an offensive line. People might not understand that.
What he said is if he had 2 Charlie Wards, he'd change his offense, go to more of an option game. But he only has 1, so he's going to make Charlie Ward learn his offense.
Let's go to Tim Brando for another update. Timmy.
Ron and Mike, just a reminder, you're in one Death Valley, but there is another. Game tied at 3, Jesse Daigle, play action fake, looking for Wesley Jacobs. He's got him. What a huge upset this would be in the SEC's Western Division and help Alabama down the line. Should LSU hold on, they're in the fourth.
Tim, thank you. I have to say, neither Mike or myself would think would be an upset because both of us thought that might happen. LSU scored a lot of points on an excellent Texas A&M defense last week and did a lot of good things on defense. But you're right, as far as what folks had predicted, it would be an upset.
Fourth quarter, Virginia 53, Navy 7.
Under 2 minutes to play, third quarter. Quick out pass, far side is caught by McCorvey, and it's going to be hog-tied by Eric Getter, and he will deny him the first down.
You have a good middle guard on the other team, Brenson Buckner, number 89. You double team him with the center and the guard. And you can see Buckner really with the injuries not really pushing as hard and rushing as hard. He's kind of feathering a little bit and just staying back, so the injury may be hurting him.
Straight ahead with William Floyd. Good leg kick right there. You could see him driving. He got hit at the line of scrimmage, fought it forward for 4 more yards before Simmons stopped him.
Simmons made the tackle, Ron. Then Robert O'Neill, the free safety, number 15, came up and finished him off.
Under a minute to play in this third quarter. And Mike is right. The momentum swung in this ball game on a 47-yard field goal that was hit by Welch. But it hit the crossbar, went through. We went to halftime. But right now, the Noles trying to claw back. Short drop by Ward. Into the end zone. Touchdown Fry.
I'm a firm believer. The more competition a young person can have in high school, if you're a football player, play baseball, play track, and it's evident here that Charlie Ward didn't get down. He's been in basketball, big games, football games. He would not allow himself to get down. Came back in the game, hit the post route.
That one was on rhythm. Zinged it to him. Extra point is good, and let's take one more look as Florida State. A marker is down on the far side of the field, so let's hold it for a second. Here's one more look at the touchdown.
Charlie Ward just on a little 3-step drop, and look at the zip he gets on the ball to Matt Pryor. Another look. Charlie Ward says there, thanks for the confidence, coach.
Fourth catch by Pryor for 53 yards now for the touchdown. As you look at Wayne Simmons. Oh, what a ball game he has had. He's been everywhere.
The Clemson defense has played well, but let's go back to the key again. On that, it was the fumble. Clemson was going in for a score.
Right.
And the fumble and the pickup, the recovery by Clifton Abraham set the field position for the Florida State offense. So the defense stepped in front of the snowball.
Returned it 51 yards, and the Seminoles turned it into points. Ryans and Easton will go back on a dual safety. Some of the capacity crowd of 83,500 on hand tonight. That's what they give. It's really hard to tell. There may be even more at this park tonight. Probably this is a situation where you hope you don't break any rules, but you give the fire marshal chauffeur.
Give him a ticket, time go get some popcorn. Hope you don't look.
Oh, the flag on the extra point, the 5 yards now being assessed, and Florida State will kick it off from the 40-yard line. This is Ryan. Tries to turn it outside and is going to be denied the 25-yard line. Well, be sure to be tuned to ESPN this Thursday night. First, it's the weekend kickoff show, which previews all the weekend's action. Then a Big East college football battle between Pittsburgh, led by quarterback Alex Van Pelt, and the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. Should be a good one from New Brunswick, New Jersey. That's this Thursday on ESPN. Straight ahead with the handoff, and a flag comes down into the middle of the pile as Blunt was stopped. Face mask, 5 seconds showing on this clock in the third period. Kenny Hatfield, and it's got to be running through his mind, that was at least a 10-point turnaround in this game. The fumble. And let's go to Tim Brando for this quick update.
After a pass interception by Carlton Buckles, this true freshman, Mike Gottfried, in 2 years, he may be the best back in the SEC. Out of Alabama, Robert Davis carries it in. Curly Hallman against his old mentor, Jackie Sherrill, up by 2 touchdowns.
17-13. Boy, you think Baton Rouge, they may be loosening up down there, just like the old times on Saturday nights. Horn sounds as the handoff goes for a couple of yards, and that will do it in the third quarter. 4 fingers go high. 15 minutes left in this one. Florida State by 4.
I remember it well. I just come out of some of the most rugged country of Utah when I turned 200,000 miles on my truck.
I was way back in the woods. It's rugged. It's at the base of Chestnut Mountain. A lot of people won't go there, but it's a special place to me.
I pulled over the side of the road, showed a sign saying 200,000 miles. Is that cool or what?
Where were you when your Toyota truck hit 100, 200, or 300,000 miles? Call us and tell us your story.
The only truck I'll ever own will be a Toyota. I'll tell you that much right now.
I noticed a definite difference in the way they drive.
The Goodyear AquaTread all-season radial. Its advanced deep groove aqua channel channels water away as you drive.
Just like you're glued to the road. 60,000-mile guarantee.
Snow, wet, dry,
strong, secure.
AquaTread, only from Goodyear.
Gives me a feeling of Aquaman.
Another reason we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
I'd go to Goodyear immediately. I really would.
Watch out, Lovejoy!
Each airplane had its own distinct personality. Usually it was temperamental.
Watch Fall Premiere Week on A&E.
It'll be back.
A&E, making TV special.
I'm a big man.
Why do so many men stick with Bic?
I'm a big man.
Because there's a Bic for every beard. Bic Regular, a great shave at a great price.
I'm a big man.
Bic Sensitive, Bic Baby's tender skin. Bic Metal, slim head, total control.
Yeah, I'm a big man.
I'm a big man.
Regular, sensitive, metal.
I'm a big man.
Yeah, how far away do you think I can get in 72 hours?
I wouldn't trust my car past the city limits.
For the way you travel today more than ever, the Smart Money is on budget. Reward yourself with free rentals and upgrades. Ask about the new Budget Awards Plus frequent renter program. The Smart Money is on budget.
17-13 as we enter the fourth quarter of play. And the situation is a second down, and they need the 34-yard line. In the stack eye formation, and Blunt knees kicking high, has 5, has 10, counted off at 13. Fowler makes the stop.
It's a tough formation to defend because you've got both backs coming at you on the toss play. And it's a tough angle for the linebacker to take on the back of that second, or block of that second back. Rodney Blunt with a big gainer.
in that 4-3 look this time. Pass is caught. That's Ryan, senior out of Greenwood, South Carolina. And it brings up the point, something that we said off the top of the telecast. I thought that for the world, Clemson intended to get him the football any way they could tonight. Not just throwing, but on reverse anyway, because he's the big play type of guy. That's the first time that they've been able to get it to him.
He's a talented receiver. First down's good down to throw for Clemson.
Again, the stack eye. You see the two fullbacks lined up. Blunt with the head of steam inside the 45, and he is very close to another Clemson first down. Fowler defensively.
Stack eye. Toss sweep to Rodney Blunt. Watch 79, Stacy Seagars with a good block on the linebacker. Then you see both backs heading front side. Then Rodney Blunt cuts it back for good yardage.
Seagars, as we said, probably the best of the offensive linemen. Huge group at 301 pounds. That's what they average across the front.
This is Clemson's game. Ball control the football. Good running game. Good series by the offensive line.
Third down and short. You can see Florida State creeping up, and they are going to deny Greer the first down. Alexander is the man at the bottom of the pile, and Simpson was also there to help out.
They brought everybody in the kitchen sink and everything else in the kitchen here. Watch the Florida State defense. They brought the backers. They brought the safety. They brought everybody and got penetration and stopped the first down. Dan Footman, number 58.
So that huge offensive line unable to accomplish their objective on that one.
Here's where Florida State now is in a bind. They're playing their regular defense. Nobody's back. They're looking for a fake, another fake, but that's what happens. You throw them offside.
Alexander jumped offside. Oh, my goodness. They had made an unbelievably fine defensive stand, and now they have handed them a first down.
Dead ball foul, offside on the defense.
What set that play up was the trick play on the field goal fake. Here's Clemson now showing all they're trying to do. They probably don't even have a play on. All they're trying to do is draw the defense offside. Fourth and less than 5 yards. Good call. Draw Florida State off. Get the sticks moving, first down.
Well, there's our man Lance Easton again.
If they win, he'll be the most valuable player tonight.
Yeah, I think we all said that special teams would win or lose this football game tonight. Williams came within a man of breaking that thing big. Fowler makes the stop on him, and you can see really for the first time in this ball game words between the two teams.
Well, we talked about the substitutions by Florida State, but what Clemson's doing right now is running behind Stacy Seagars and Les Hall. They're two, the senior Hall and the junior 320-pound Seagars, and they're running to the right side behind their veteran offensive lineman with the stack eye.
A little quicker count. This is Williams. Oh, boy. He gets belted from the side. Having to wait for his blocker, and guess who? Marvin, number 55. Marvin Jones is there to make the stop.
Great players make big plays. You expect that out of an All-American. Number 55, Marvin Jones, steps up inside, blitzes, then the pursuit, come down the line of scrimmage, take off like Superman, and make the tackle.
Clemson calls a timeout. 11:45 left in the ball game. Florida State 17, Clemson 13. We'll be right back.
Some days you just can't lose. All of them want to spread the news. Some days you feel so good. Got a smile, got a knock on wood.
A great day calls for a great beer. The Michelob beers, with its smooth, classic taste you don't find every day.
There's more than new looks to the 93 Ford Escort. There's a whole new way to buy an Escort, because these 4 Escort LXs all share one low price, $10,499. The 3-door, 4-door sedan, 5-door, and wagon all have air conditioning, AM/FM stereo, power steering, power mirrors, and more. 4 Escorts, one price. Now buying an Escort's as easy as owning one.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
I
noble warrior advised. The art of protection springs from within. One must stay vigilant against one's unfragrant perspiration, lest one provoke a hostile response. Thus, a Norse ritual is Right Guard Sports Stick. An aromatic array of the freshest scents and maximum protection against disarming wetness. Confirming the wisdom, the best defense is not to offend. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
ESPN's presentation of CFA football is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Energizer batteries. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. Ron Franklin back in Clemson, South Carolina, along with Mike Gottfried and Adrian Carson. What would you run here, Mike?
If he's claiming this two-down territory, I'd run the football.
They get set up to reverse. They get it off to Ryan. And Ryan will turn the corner and have the first down. And now here comes a late flag at the 25-yard line. How in the world did Ronald Williams make the handoff? He was getting tackled in the backfield. Now, they have said illegal use of hands, but Mike, this is, well, let's wait and see. It's from the spot. So the first down will count, right?
Illegal push to the back by the offense. 10 yards, still third down.
Watch the top of your screen. There's the push in the back. 71.
But the rule says this year, if you're in contact with somebody, as long as you're engaged, that's fine. Then when you re-engage, if you hit him again, you hit him from behind, you're going to call the 10-yard penalty.
That was the call on Brentley Jern.
So it came from the spot, third down and 5. So actually, they didn't lose anything, did they?
Now Clemson has to make a decision. Is this two-down territory again? If you're going to go for on 2 downs, run the football. If not, throw the ball to Terry Smith on the out up at the top of the screen.
Going to put it up. Looking at the 10-yard line. It is caught by Smith. He'll score. Comes over the sidelines. The cheer of the fans as Welch knocks it home. And we have a brand new ball game. Clemson 21-17.
Clemson had the one-on-one coverage. They decided on third down to throw the football. Look at the top of your screen to Terry Smith. One-on-one. Mia had an out route, but you fade everything on the outside. And then he came back for the ball. Corey Sawyer kind of outran the ball a little bit. They separated. Good job by Terry Smith of coming back to the football. Look, watch. He's in pretty good shape now. He comes back to the football. Corey Sawyer kind of drifted away from the ball.
If the pass had been thrown where it was supposed to have been, it never would have made connections. An underthrown ball, a man coverage, the advantage goes to the receiver.
And you have to give Terry Smith credit, coming back for the football.
Fifth catch for him now, 73 yards.
Richard Moncrief says, hey, I got us in the end zone now.
Jeff Sauvé will kick it off. And a look across the way. Corey Sawyer sitting with his head down in that bench.
Leadership of Richard Moncrief. Coaches all talked about it. He was able to lead his team down the field for the go-ahead score.
This will be Tiger McMillan at the 7. will take it out close to the 30-yard line. Jamie Trimble on the special teams for the Clemson Tigers, and Charlie Ward gets a last quick visit from his offensive coordinator, Brad Scott. Wonder what percentage of plays Bobby Bowden has called tonight. He said he's letting Scott call him, but he also holds privilege that he can change one or send one in at any time.
I think he's in on every decision. I don't think Minnie's going to pass without his okay.
11:02 left in the ball game. Clemson by 3, I beg your pardon. Goes up on top, looking for Baker, and overthrown. Tim Jones was applying pressure. Mike, in the very first ball game that Shannon Baker played in as a Florida State Seminole, that was the game that Clemson won handily down in Tallahassee. But I remember as a freshman, he's a state sprint champion, and Florida State tried to go on top a couple of times with him, but the speedy Clemson defensive backs covered him like a glove, just like they did there.
This is one team defensively that matches up with the speed of Florida State.
You're right. Just started off with 1 second showing on the clock. That running play will go for no yardage. Jackson knocked down by Derek Burnett.
This is the difference when you play in a league. You're in the ACC now. All these Atlantic Coast Conference teams are gunning for that man in this football team. They're the newcomer. And the fans and everybody, and that's when you go into a new league. That's the toughness of it.
Well, that's what the sign says right there. They got him a big message. Clemson welcomes you to Death Valley. Ward on 3rd down. Over the middle, got a man open. McCorvey, check it, it's Kevin Knox, I beg your pardon. And he'll have the first down to the 46-yard line.
I'm impressed with Charlie Ward. I know he's had his interceptions tonight, but the calmness and the cool attitude that he shows here. Stands in the pocket, just keeps waiting for someone to get open, and Kevin Knox sits in the zone, and he's able to hit him for the completion.
Thomasville, Georgia. Running play, only a couple. Tim Jones, boy, we called his name a lot tonight. He has been outstanding.
Ron, I want to go back to the league. Now, as Bobby Bowden told us, you have to build traditions, because he said the only traditions they had before when they were independent were Miami and Florida. He might play one team 1 year and not play them again for 5 years. Now every year he's going to play these same teams. The traditions will build.
Got it completed again. It's Kevin Knox. He's going to have the first down. Mike, we saw that sign just a moment ago, welcome to Death Valley. Last year was the 50th anniversary of that, and I know that LSU claims Death Valley as well, but there was a coach at Presbyterian by the name of Lonnie McMillan. Not only did they never win here, rarely did they ever score, and he told the writers in 1942, he said, well, we got to go back to Death Valley next week and play Clemson, and the name stuck, but that's where it came from. Gets that one off for short yardage to the 40. And Tim Brando, what do you have for us?
Ron, you and Mike were in Austin, Texas last week, where Jackie Sherrill won for the 6th consecutive time, but he's 1-4 lifetime against LSU. Jermaine Williams punches it in from 7 yards out. Curly Hallman's Tigers up 24-3. That score is certainly surprising.
Yeah. 24-3, the Tigers. There might be a curfew or two met in that city tonight. Ward on 2nd down. Zings it, incomplete. Whoa. Pryor's who he was looking for. You can see O'Neal patting his headgear. He was a little closer to it than was Fryer.
Another bad throw by Charlie Ward, just a little bit too far. Led the receiver just a little bit too far. The impressive thing on this drive and the impressive thing on Clemson drive is the block of the offensive line. Florida State's offensive line is giving Charlie Ward time.
Third down. Line to make for 32. Will go out of bounds, will not have the first down. James Trapp was out there in the vicinity. Ward just ran out of real estate to that side, but Mike, he should have been tackled a couple of times.
James Trapp did a nice job there by using the sideline. He made Charlie Ward go into the sideline, allowing the sideline to be his extra man and then knock him out short of the first down.
So it is going to be fourth down, and Florida State will be looking at just over a yard and a half to pick up the first. They have the play from the bench, and here's the situation. 7:46.
I like the ball in Charlie Ward's hands.
Ball is tipped in the air. Incomplete. Clemson takes over. Tim Jones.
Clemson did not get pressure on Charlie Ward. Then they brought a linebacker. Tim Jones, number 56, on the blitz. Got his hands, ran over the blocker, caused a deflection.
So there's a timeout on the field. The Tigers by 3.
There's a tropical island that's not on any map, though it's easy to find. It's warmed by the sun and caressed by the winds, with its own hidden treasures, local delicacies, and exotic festivals. But this island moves. It's a Carnival cruise ship. So if you go, get there on time and get out your Visa card, because the world's most popular cruise line doesn't stay in one place for long, and it doesn't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Now you can have a firmer fanny with the Fanny Sizer from Firmco. Just shake, shake, shake your way to a shape.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going.
The PB in PB Max doesn't mean Penguin Black Belt. Nope, the PB means peanut butter, covered in milk chocolate with a hearty crunch in every bite. PB Max, we mean peanut butter.
Ask anyone who's driven a Ford lately. Ask them about quality. It's one of the biggest reasons 5 of the 10 best-selling cars and trucks in America are Fords. The F-Series pickup, Taurus, Explorer, Escort, and Ranger. 5 out of 10 of the country's best sellers. It's quality that breeds success. Have you driven a Ford lately? It's more than just a question. It's an answer.
Saturday, Syracuse wrestles with Ohio State in a primetime CFA matchup, live at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Adrian Carson, we welcome you back to Clemson, South Carolina. First night game in 36 years for the Clemson Tigers. Roll straight ahead, and you can hear and see the contact. Marvin Jones stepped up into the hole, and Howard Hall just didn't go anywhere.
Both teams in this game have rallied around their quarterbacks. Richard Moncrief has been able in the second half to get his offense moving, and you can just tell they're counting on him to make a play.
Still plenty of time left in this one. Clemson 20, Florida State 17.
Second and 9, number 34.
Marvin Jones took the feet right out from under Blunt as he was turning upfield and getting ahead of steam, and now it's going to be a third down.
Have to be impressed with Stacy Seegers, number 79. Watch him on the pull. The block of the fullback. There he's kicking out. Marvin Jones comes up and makes a tackle. But they're going behind those veteran offensive linemen with success.
That was Brooks that he was blocking, and Seegers outweighs him by 110 pounds.
You can see Brooks just kind of disappear. When you're outweighed that much, you're at a real disadvantage. Third down. And they need the 44. Puts it on his hip, and that's where the team defensive speed of Florida State is so great. That's a huge stop at 6 minutes and 11 seconds left in the ball game. Brooks and Alexander stayed at home, and Clemson is going to have to kick the ball away.
Ron, I thought that was a good play called by Kenny Hatfield. You get Richard Moncrief on the corner, but the quickness of Florida State, Ken Alexander, number 36, made the play. There was no room for Richard to go.
As the special teams come on, Clemson will use every second that they can off the 25-second clock. Welch, here's a guy that's been a hero so far tonight.
There won't be any trickery here.
No. Line drive kick. This one is returnable, and Sawyer runs away from it. Now, good heavens, what was he thinking? He ran over as though he was going to pick up the ball at the last second. Let's take a break. Clemson by 3.
This week on Warner Home Theater.
Hector Macho Camacho has won 40 fights. He's never lost. His next opponent, Julio Cesar Chavez, has won 80 fights, and he's never lost. On Saturday, September 12th, Macho Camacho will find out just how macho he really is. Chavez versus Camacho, WBC Championship, September 12th, live on pay-per-view TV. Call now.
Sports fans, it's the Southwest Sports Collectors Show. September 12th and 13th at the Summit. Step up to the plate with autograph guest Cy Young winner Tom Clapham, MVP Terry Pendleton, and Hall of Famer Willie McCovey, and former Houston Rocket Calvin Murphy. Buy, sell, and trade with 125 of the nation's top exhibitors. The first 2,500 people through the door each day get a free promotional bag, including a Deion Sanders card. Issued exclusively for this event. Tickets now at the Summit and all Ticketmaster outlets. Produced by TriStar Sports. It's a Big East feast when a hungry Rutgers squad gets put to the test against high-powered Pitt. Thursday night, live college football on ESPN in a class by itself.
Can Bruce Litsky make it a three-peat? 15 golfers within 5 shots of our leader, including Greg Norman, Freddie Couples, and Curtis Strange. Find out with Final Round live coverage. We'll see you at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Mount Rainier and another imposing giant, the #2 Huskies of Washington. Play host to Tom Osborne and the 11th-ranked Huskers as the Pacific Northwest takes national center stage. That's where our crew will be next Saturday night. Bobby Bowden with the first down, the ball at his own 23-yard line. Tiger McMillan takes it out to the 30. That's Buckner who makes the stop for Clemson, and I'm surprised he's still in the ballgame. That's a gutty performance by Buckner, being hurt late in the first half. Didn't think he'd play in the second half, and he's been there for them.
Well, he has. He's played tough inside. Yeah, Kenny Hatfield, you got to feel good. Your defense, you have 7 seniors on your defense. Florida State has to take the ball 70-plus yards to beat you.
Ward zips his pass complete to Baker. Will have the first down. You could see with the spin move, trying to break off that last tackler. James is the man who was holding on to it. James Trapp. He gets by him, and Baker is shaken up on the play. No, I take it. He was just hopping over that chain as they were moving. Beg your pardon.
What a great game to open up the ACC competition tonight. They've already had a game, Florida State, with Duke. Now they get a chance to play. Whoever wins this game takes a leg up in this conference race.
Lofts it. Has it complete. Kevin Knox goes airborne at the 42-yard line of Clemson.
Florida State tried so many times tonight to get Kevin Knox down the middle, number 81. Now they're going to hit the inside receiver on a corner route. Breaks behind number 23, Norris Brown. Look at him stretch out and make that catch. What concentration by the receiver, Kevin Knox. Watch his concentration. Look the ball in, now bring it in.
Pressure on Ward. Going to try to run. He will get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Buckner and Mike Barber combining to make the stop on Charlie Ward.
Ron Dickerson tonight has made a lot of good calls as defensive coordinator against Bobby Bowden's offense. You have to pick your spots to pressure, and Ron Dickerson has been successful tonight. Michael Barber, number 12, last time putting pressure from the outside on Charlie Ward.
At the 30-yard line for the first down. Kes McCorvey, the sophomore from Pascagoula.
Just talked about pressure, when to make a move. Watch number 56. He's going to blitz in, which means you're in man coverage in the secondary. You see Robert O'Neill up there, man coverage on the back. Receiver Kes McCorvey against the pressure, open for the route across the middle. As I said, you choose your spots. Sometimes, you know, you're successful getting to him. If you're blitzing, you better get to him. Those receivers can run in the secondary.
About to go into 3 minutes to play in the ballgame. Clemson by 3. Ward will run. Loses his footing, and they're going to mark him down at the 22. Tim Jones was coming up on him quickly. Also, Simmons was out there.
An interesting scenario here. I know Bobby Bowden's going to be going for a touchdown. He's trying to get the score. But now, first time in the league, his thinking's got to be a little bit different with 2:40 on the clock. Does he think in terms of a tie? That man never thinks in terms of a tie. But when you're in a league, sometimes early part of the season is something you have to talk about.
Blitz from up the middle. Ward dumps the pass off to his tight end Johnson. He not only has the first down, he is inside the 10-yard line. Norris Brown makes the stop. Humphrey was the man who was putting pressure on Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward, mobile quarterbacks, guys that can get away. Charlie Ward with a fake. They're going to bring a blitz from the outside. Number 34, Andre Humphrey, he just moves away, avoids the sack, throws the ball down to the 9-yard line.
Mike, that's where athletic ability, you can have the greatest coverage and defense in the world, but it can beat you. 2:14 left. Ward has it for the touchdown. Kevin Knox.
What a drive by the Florida State offense against a veteran defensive football team. 7 seniors on that Clemson defense.
Maury with the extra point attempt to put the Seminoles up by 4. We're going to hold it right here. Mike, watch Simmons lower the boom on Ward as he throws the pass, and the youngster is still undeterred.
Charlie Ward's been pressed in a lot of arenas in this Atlantic Coast Conference. Well, he's got the press on him right here, but he's able to deliver the ball to Kevin Knox for the touchdown.
And you can see Simmons, 49, was just all over him.
Watch the route of number 81. Just drifting toward the end zone. Sits in there, waits for the football, falls in the end zone for the touchdown. The route really was opened up by Matt Fryer, who went underneath and took the zone coverage away.
It looked as though Clemson thought that maybe he was just a pick man. He was not an intended receiver at all.
Well, now you go to Clemson, and they have to respond now, but down by 4 points. The ball's on Richard Moncrief.
Kevin Knox on the bench. He's a junior out of Niceville, Florida. And he has had nagging injuries throughout his career. As you look at Simmons on the near side, the outstanding linebacker for Clemson. But Knox gets the touchdown. Simmons was just a breath away from stopping Charlie Ward from getting the pass away. Adrian Carson, what do you have for us?
Ron, I am looking right into the eyes of the Clemson Tigers, and I see confidence. The word is all we need is one chance. They feel they can do it.
Well, they're going to get that chance. They got 2:08 on the clock. That's a lot of time, and they have 2 timeouts left.
Lance Houston 5 yards deep. So the situation, 2:08 remaining. Clemson will take it over at their own 20-yard line, trailing by 4 points. I know how badly this Clemson ball club wants to win this ball game. Thursday night at practice, Ken Hatfield was working his team out, and all of a sudden a horse came riding on the field. It was his wife, Sandy, attired in an Indian outfit. She comes and put a spear down in the middle of the field. They were trying to counter what Chief Osceola and Florida State does. They have done everything they know to get this team sky high. Pass to Witherspoon. Nothing there. That's Clifton Abraham defensively.
It's amazing, since they got the lead, I'm starting to hear more of that chant a little bit louder, but Clemson's going without the huddle.
Tigers have 2 timeouts left in the game. Reggie Freeman, the freshman from Clewiston, and it's Dan Footman underneath who got the sack.
Talked about the individual moves. Reggie Freeman just took an inside move. He's a criminology major. He worked with the Tallahassee police this summer, rode around in the squad car and missed a little bit of spring practice, lost his starting job, came back in the fall, regained it, and made a big play.
Take a timeout. 1:35 left in the ball game. Florida State by 4.
A real sports coupe is more than fancy technology. It's the perfect balance between the needs of a driver and the needs of a curve. With a pure, focused performance that makes even the same old roads seem new. Because it's not the road you take, it's how you take the road. The all-new 24-valve Ford Probe GT. Have you driven a Ford lately?
For so long, government has failed us, and one of its worst failures has been welfare. I have a plan to end welfare as we know it, to break the cycle of welfare dependency. We'll provide education, job training, and child care. But then those who are able must go to work, either in the private sector or in public service. I know it can work. In my state, we've moved 17,000 people from welfare rolls to payrolls. It's time to make welfare what it should be, a second chance, not a way of life.
Son of a gun protectant. Nothing works better on your car's leather, vinyl, and rubber. It can turn just about anything into a great-looking car.
Nice car.
What, this pile of junk? Give it the gun. STP Son of a Gun.
Kenny Hatfield looks out on the field knowing that he has 95 seconds left. His club trailing by 4. And it's up to that group right there. That huge offensive line. And quarterback Richard Moncrief, the junior from Montgomery. Going to go up on top. Has a man there. It is intercepted by John Davis of Florida State. Credit the interception. Also give credit to Todrick McIntosh, as he was all in the face of Moncrief.
Richard Moncrief, who's played well tonight. Unfortunate pass, just got too much height on the ball, but he was hit as he threw under tremendous pressure. John Davis, number 18, picked off the interception. Another look. Number 20, Larry Rhymes, going down the sideline. Ball was just a little bit high, forced high by the pass rush of Florida State.
Seegers, the fine offensive lineman for the Clemson Tigers. He's winded. That's been a tough Florida State defense to go against tonight. Not as big as the offensive line from Clemson, but very, very quick, and they have penetrated all night long. Moncrief. Towel goes over the head, and the thoughts of what if.
Frustration because they've worked so hard for this night.
And on the Florida State side, the celebration has started. College football scoreboard coming up next here on ESPN. Florida State 24, Clemson 20. Tigers got that field goal just before halftime. It ignited them. They came back and scored 10 unanswered in the third quarter. But Florida State with a huge one on their final drive just a moment ago. Straight ahead, they'll keep the ball on the ground. William Floyd. Tim Jones, who has had an outstanding game tonight, is there to make the stop for the Clemson Tigers.
You work in practice on this situation for Clemson. You just pull at the ball. You're out of timeouts now, and every ball, if the ball snapped and Charlie Ward decides to hand off, I doubt that he will, but you always tell your defense, pull at the ball, try to cause the fumble, pull it out.
Well, the one rule change that has been made this year is with the fumbles that can make for a different situation, Mike, even late in the ballgame, and that is to pick up a fumble on either side of the line, and you can return it. Well, tonight's Visa players of the game are from Florida State. Marvin Jones playing ill. 8 tackles, 1 quarterback pressure. Some kind of night for him. And Jones folks all over the country are going to be happy tonight because the Visa player of the game from Clemson is Tim Jones. 7 tackles for him, 1 quarterback pressure. In fact, he had the big breakup of the pass on the 4th down play against Charlie Ward in the 4th quarter. And as part of their continuing effort to further the development of amateur athletics, Visa is proud to donate $1,000 to each of these universities and $1,000 to the U.S. Olympic team on behalf of these athletes.
Florida State spent a lot of emotion tonight. Next week they're at North Carolina State. That'll be another place that they'll be waiting for them.
NC State, excellent start. They're 3-0. They had to come from behind today.
There'll be no more handoffs.
Charlie Ward will go down on one knee, and the clock now running under 1 minute to play. Clemson gets a week off. Their next task is down in Atlanta against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Florida State has to run one more, and that will do it right there. Charlie Ward goes down on one knee. Had some problems with the interceptions, but he overcame. And that man right there has won on his first trip as an ACC member into Death Valley. Not an easy task. Florida State fans coming out of the stands from across the way as Bobby Bowden comes over to try to find Ken Hatfield, and there they are able to link up at midfield. Let's take one more look at the winning touchdown in this ball game.
Charlie Ward hit that basket against Louisville to win the Metro Conference basketball tournament, and he hits this pass to win a big ACC football game.
So the Seminoles have done it. Once again, the final score is Florida State 24, Clemson 20. Stay tuned for the college football scoreboard next. For Mike Gottfried and Adrian Karsten, I'm Ron Franklin saying so long from Clemson, South Carolina. Now let's go to the scoreboard studios.
All right, Ron, another classic in what should become a great rivalry in the ACC.
Undoubtedly, for the NFL, he might double those 11. Dave, you've been watching the Huskers for years and years, most of your 38 years, and over that course of time...
Why do you have to tell people how old I am?
Well, I just thought it was necessary. People might be wondering why you're not playing anymore with the Browns.
I think that's rather obvious. You've watched the Huskers, too, over your 28 years.
9 now.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Anyhow, top 5 skilled people all time in Nebraska, for you.
All right, including quarterback, wide receiver,
quarterback, wide
skilled
receiver, wing backs in Nebraska.
Well, I would say
back?
Johnny Rodgers for sure.
Sure, definitely.
I would think that Turner, Gill, Rozier, and Fryer have to be in there someplace. I like Tony Davis back in the early 70s. He's now an assistant coach with the Huskers. He'd kill me if I didn't say that. They have had so many great players. I mean, I am hip. They've had so many great players that it's tough to single out 4 or 5 of them, but they all were fun to watch.
Yeah, you can mention Roger Craig and, of course, Tom Rathman, guys who were probably better in the National Football League than they actually were collegiately. But Nebraska has 2 great ones right now, and Derek Brown, as we mentioned, and also Calvin Jones, and they went to town Saturday against Middle Tennessee State. So let's return to Lincoln, Nebraska. It was the Huskers and the Blue Raiders.
The Nebraska Cornhuskers have a big date in Seattle with the Washington Huskies this Saturday. And last Saturday in Lincoln, it looked like Tom Osborne's club was already looking ahead to that battle, at least for the first half. The Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders, a Division I AA powerhouse, gave the Huskers fits for 30 minutes, trailing just 14-7 at halftime, before the big red machine kicked into high gear and ended the suspense. The second time Nebraska touched the football, the plan was pretty simple. Give the ball to Calvin Jones and watch him go. And that's exactly what the 210-pound sophomore from Omaha did. 7 times he carried the ball in the 9-play drive. The longest run was for 24 yards. The shortest was just for 2, but it was the 2 that put 6 points on the board for the Huskers halfway through the first period. In the second quarter, Jones took a break, and his sidekick, junior Derek Brown, took the opportunity to strut his stuff. This Husker drive would reach the Blue Raider 25 before Nebraska would lose the ball on downs. After getting the ball back, Middle Tennessee State shocked the sold-out crowd that no doubt was expecting a romp for its 11th-rated Huskers. The Blue Raiders burned the Nebraska defense on a 61-yard touchdown pass. The point after was perfect, and 10 minutes before halftime, it was tied at 7. The Blue Raider touchdown sent a wake-up call to Osborne's troops. Quarterback Mike Grant connects with junior split end Trumaine Bell for a first down near midfield. Then 6 plays later, Grant took it in himself, getting 15 of the 490 yards rushing Nebraska would earn in its second victory. The Cornhuskers were back on top 14-7, but could do no further damage in the first half. Just 2 plays into the second half, the Huskers doubled their lead. Fullback Lance Lewis bust loose for 42 yards right through the heart of the Middle Tennessee State defense. The next time Nebraska touched the ball, Brown dialed long distance for another Nebraska touchdown. The Huskers missed the extra point, but were now firmly in control for the first time, leading 27-7 with 13 minutes still left in the third quarter. 5 minutes later, Brown scored from short range. It was Nebraska's 3rd touchdown of the third quarter, which still had 6.5 minutes left. The Big Red had the score where everyone expected it to be, 34-7 in their favor. The rest of the contest was a chance for Osborne to look at some of his young talent. And the Nebraska defense had its moments also. Outside linebacker Lance Gray wraps up a Blue Raider for an 8-yard loss. The Huskers would allow only 50 yards rushing all day. That stingy attitude, combined with a 34-point second-half outburst, made it look easy in a 48-7 win. But Nebraska knows better. It was a struggle initially.
So Nebraska now 2-0 in the college football season, but it wasn't quite as easy as it looked. At halftime this past Saturday, the natives a bit restless as Nebraska
Considering they're playing Nebraska, 48-7 as Derek Brown rushes for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. 95 points in Waco. Colorado wins it 57-38. Cordell Stewart, 16 of 17. The only incompletion was an intentional grounding. He left at halftime with a sprained foot. Oklahoma, 61-zip. Cale Gundy left with a bruised thigh. Only had 97 yards, but the Sooners scored on every possession in the first half. Tennessee goes in between the hedges, beats Georgia 34-31. Garrison Hurst was the hero. 144 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tennessee has Florida up next. A shocker here is Purdue and Jim Cullen.
Now they put 2 backs in the backfield. That looks more like the Bobby Bowden offense, doesn't it? They give it to the deep man, Floyd, William Floyd, and the Canes beat him up. So Florida State is now 3 for 15 on 3rd down conversions.
86 in the red jersey is Patrick. Play is inside. He slants to the inside, makes the initial hit, and then the rest of the attacking Hurricanes. And another field goal attempt for Maury.
41 yards this attempt.
Into some wind.
Blocked from 39. Wide left 38. Good from 22 and 38. This is to make it a 16-10 if he could pull it through there, and he did. 41-yarder is good. 9:05 to play. 16-10. Florida State leads Miami.
Take one and action. Hey, what's the best thing about breakfast at McDonald's?
Coffee.
Pour out a cup, steaming, it's dark and rich.
I pour it personally.
Coffee fresh?
Fresh brewed. Fantastic cup of coffee.
So what's the secret?
Arabica.
Oh, what's an Arabica?
Arabica beans.
Oh, the beans. And what else?
It's always fresh.
It just tastes good.
And they like to come in and talk with each other, and just like the small coffee shop long ago.
How much are coffee refills?
They're free. What you want is what you get.
Guaranteed.
What's up?
Yeah.
In a world of constant change, there is one certainty. The financial strength of the rock. The Prudential Rock Solid.
There is a sound that you can expect to hear in the triangle below Canal Street. It's the sound of German being spoken by those who make the art and those who are awed by it. Beck's, the #1 imported German beer in Tribeca, America, and the world.
It takes strength to go climbing 7 days a week. That's why one compact pickup powers you with the biggest full-size V6 engine you can get. Only Chevy S10 Tahoe 4x4. Chevrolet, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
You see Mark Caesar there, sat down on the bench with his defensive teammates. They've rewrapped his right ankle. Doc says he can play. 9:05 to go in the ball game. 16-10. Florida State leads Miami. Maury will kick it off. He's in position to hit that high pop-up pooch kick to keep it away from the speedsters. But he hits this one a little longer than he's hit the previous ones, and this gives Spencer a chance to take a hold of it. Get a block on the sidelines and turn on the jets. And a step or so from really burning them. So he got a little eager with his kick. Instead of forcing them into a fair catch ball, he gave Spencer a shot at it, and he brought it back across the 40-yard line. 77,338 the crowd today.
Toretta, and who he's throwing to, thrown the ball 37 or 38 times. 11 of them have been caught by wide receivers, and not many to the running backs or tight ends. That's where they wanted to go with the ball. They just haven't been successful at it.
All right, first down from the 41. Toretta back. Throws a homer that is short, incomplete. Intended for Coleman Bell. Toretta's knocked down again.
Does take its toll on a quarterback, Keith. Even if he gets the ball off, if he's getting hit or knocked down each time he throws the ball, or every other time, that registers. He remembers this. 5-step drop right there, throws the ball, and that's Palmer, 56, just saying hello.
Second down and 10. Derek Brooks is back in the ball game after his bout with dehydration.
Go!
Try to run it. Nothing there. The draw play is... I don't know if I have ever seen a draw play work in the last 5 years against either one of these teams.
It all starts with the offensive line.
Yep.
And that time they were just pushed back into the backfield, Keith. That defensive line for Florida State just dominating. There was no place to go on that draw play.
3rd down and 12. First down. Slides across midfield and goes down at the 46-yard line of Florida State, and that is a big play.
A very big play, Keith. That'll give some confidence to Toretta. He's not been throwing the ball well today. He didn't throw it well last week against Arizona. He said it was his worst game he ever played. Only 14 of 40 now, but when you run, you scramble, you help your team pick up a first down. Gives you a new set of downs.
That is the longest Miami rush of the day, too, incidentally. 13 yards. Pass thrown all the way across the field and caught by Donnell Bennett. And he shoved out of bounds after picking up 3 yards. So it's 2nd down and 7 for the Canes. They've won 47 in a row here. They have a 21-game win streak. It's in jeopardy as Florida State leads 16-10, 7:41 to play in the game.
You know, Keith, when I was with the Dolphins from 71 to 74, we won 31 games in a row in this building, in this park. It really is the fans are close. It's like Fenway Park, the old Wrigley Field. They are really getting involved.
Hand off to McGuire. He'll get to the 41. That's a pickup of 2 yards. So here you are looking at that ever-present 3rd down again. They've done very little on first down plays.
That's the key down, too. Anytime you want to, especially against a team that's so tough on 3rd down. I would think this would be a 4-down area. If they don't make it here, they would go for it on 4th down.
They've got it. Coleman Bell makes the catch at the 33 of Florida State. Coleman Bell made a huge catch in last year's football game to keep a drive alive for Miami.
It was a struggle for both teams last year up in Tallahassee. It's been a struggle here today. The defense have dominated both last year and this year, and it was Coleman Bell who finally stood above the rest, made a tough catch late in the game to get the Hurricanes a big first down and continue their drive. No backs in the backfield.
And inside the 34, it'll be officially the 33-yard line of Florida State. Don't they have 12 people on the field?
Yeah, little mix-up. Substitution late.
Oh, boy. Gotta hurry up. Got it away just in time. Put it up high. 100. Make the catch. Touchdown. Upland. Toretta is clobbered on the play. It's Lamar Thomas. Lamar Thomas is the hero under the pile. The coaching staff holding their breath as Toretta was really busted. He put it up in the air, and Lamar Thomas ran it down.
That's Abraham, the defensive back. Thomas is 6'3". Abraham is 5'9". The coaching staff knew that. They threw it up.
And Toretta's all right. He comes trotting off the field. 16-16 tie with 6 minutes to play in the ball game. Now enter the kicker, Mr. Pruitt. The score a year ago over in Tallahassee. With 17-16. Lamar Thomas, 5 for 76 now, and that big touchdown. Full open down the sidelines to make the catch at about, about 15 yards. He had him outrun, didn't he?
He did, and he had the size on him, too. He had about 6 inches, maybe 7 inches. Thomas is a leaper. He tied for the Big East high jumping championship this past spring. He and Copeland tied for that honor.
I don't know what the officials are talking about.
I think it maybe have something to do with all the hurricanes that ran on the field. I'm not sure. Yes.
Yep, that's what it was. Too much celebration. Well, that's a rule that just falls under. I mean, that's the thing that falls under that rule. What it was too much celebration.
Well, what happened was
right out on the field.
About 25 or 30 guys from the bench took off for the end zone, and that's the foul. There's no question about it.
Yep.
And it will be marked off on the ensuing kickoff. And that just gets Florida State closer to a possible game-winning field goal.
There's also a discussion here, Bob, about time that ran off the clock because apparently the clock kept on running. Got to try to sort this thing out. Before the touchdown play, David Burnson, according to the official folks, it was 6:57, and now it shows 5:55.
Please set the clock to 6:50.
There you go.
So we lost a minute, huh?
Yep. Clock operator, however, is part of the officiating crew, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Dennis Erickson not too happy about that penalty. His team is last in the Big 8 as far as yards penalized. Big East, I'm sorry, as far as yards penalized.
Well, as soon as they got the time back on the clock at 6:50. Now they got to try to figure out what to do with the ball, where they're going to put it down.
Well, and all this, too, is that young kicker, Pruitt, is out there thinking that it's a 16-all game, and I need to make this kick.
Well, they're going to put the ball down and assess the penalty on the kickoff. So he gets his shot at it from the 10-yard line, which is normal. Snyder will hold it. It's good. Miami has regained the lead. Poor boy, 17-16. Florida State had led 16-10, and then Miami gets the big play from Lamar Thomas. And we've got 6:50 left to play, and you've got USC Washington, Iowa, Michigan coming up.
Blitzing situation, man-to-man on the secondary.
Well, he took some pretty good licks, didn't he?
It was Alexander, the linebacker.
Here's what caused the penalty. Now, you see Thomas loping through the end zone. Now, here comes all the celebration, and that's what triggered the flag and the penalty and the long discussion and the clock running and all of that.
Now, those guys were on the offense, but Holloman and all these guys, Shipman, those guys came from the bench. London, he's an offensive tackle. It took him a day and a half to get over there. He knows what's coming. He knows you can't leave the bench to celebrate.
Well, I think what Dennis was most worried about there was that they might ding him on his force his kicker back.
No, I think he knows the rules better than that.
I guess.
Yeah.
But
well, they're not moving him back yet because he's on the 35-yard line. They're forgetting. They need to move him back.
Should come
the scene here. Florida State does not need to take it the entire distance. They will be going into some wind. All they need is a field goal.
A lot of time.
And they've got almost 7 minutes to do it.
Against Florida State. The two unsportsmanlike conduct penalties offset each other. Miami will kick off from the
Now we're told that we have offsetting
unsportsmanlike
conduct penalties. Oh boy.
There is no foul for unsportsmanlike on Florida State. There's just a foul on Miami.
Well, that moves the ball back to the 20. There was the announcement that it was offsetting, but now the referee corrects that information, and they put it down on the 20-yard line where it should be.
And this is a big break now. The special teams for Florida State have been outstanding. They've run a punt back almost for a touchdown and a kickoff back for a touchdown. Their teams have been very good. Miami's coverage has not been good.
Oh, he'll kick it from the 20. With Vanover and McMillan waiting. Pretty good kick. Runs him all the way back inside the 15 to the 14. McMillan on the sideline. Gets some daylight. He almost got it. But he gives them very good field position out across the 40-yard line.
McMillan turns the kickoff.
Last year, back in November, which was toward the end of the season, obviously, this was the missed field goal by Jerry Thomas of Florida State that preserved the win for Miami, 17-16. They went on to share the national championship with the Washington Huskies. Right now, the score is 17-16 Miami, but circumstances a little different. The ball is out on the 43-yard line. First down, Florida State with 6 minutes and 42 seconds to play in the game. Charlie Ward. Down he goes. Big sack. Blowing through. Pat Riley. First time I've called his name all day, and the big sophomore from Marrero, Louisiana. 7 sacks on Charlie Ward.
Number 43 right over the center. That's McNeil, 69, that picks him up for a second and then lets him go. He looked around and says, you know, who am I blocking? Offensive line problems. Bowden spoke about it in our pregame, as well as Erickson. 7 sacks now for the Hurricanes on Ward.
Loss of 7 yards. Oh, the ball is on the ground. It's an incomplete forward pass, and Comeric Vanover will not get up. Michael Barrow separated him from his senses. Wow. I haven't seen a defensive football game like this in a long time.
That's one of those wide receiver screens. There you see it, and Barrow has seen a few of those, and he's ready for it.
8 tackles on the day now for Barrow.
Here you look at it here. Here's a hand Vanover. He's just going to come right down here. Now, the defensive man is going to see it right here, and there's going to be a collision about halfway in between. Lineman coming out, but Barrow sees it.
Vanover's up. He's a tough kid. Drops off the field.
He almost came to Miami. And Ryan McNeil, the defensive cornerback that's been covering him, was his host while he was here. McNeil said the other day, he was a nice kid, Vanover was, but I was too hospitable to him then, and I'm not going to be as hospitable to him today.
36-yard line. Third down and 17. Ward steps away from the pressure. Wants to go deep. Does go deep. Baker's down there, but he has no chance to get to the ball. And it's 4th down. So a spectacular series for the Miami Hurricane defense. Defense.
offense has played well. The defenses have been outstanding.
Jonathan Harris, John Wimberly involved right here now. Wimberly's 19, the punter, and Harris number 3 as the receiver for Miami. Didn't get all of it. Fair catch is ball by Harris at the 29-yard line. First down Miami, and let's go to John Saunders.
He's an exciting finish in the ACC after NC State missed a field goal that would have won the game. Sean Jones to Keenan Walker set up this. Scott Sisson, 29-yard field goal, his 3rd of the game, and the 6th time in his career he has won a game with a field goal. Now, some upsets in the making, including Texas A&M, number 5. They're down to Texas Tech, 14-10, and Wisconsin leading Ohio State now 20-10 late in the 4th quarter. Back to you, Keith.
That wow. First down from the 29 for Miami. 5:39 to play in the ball game, and Donnell Bennett runs it for about 3 yards. You can't get too conservative. Give the ball back to Florida State because they can hit you from anywhere.
But if you're an offensive team, Keith, this is where you need a running game.
Yep.
You don't need any more points. You need to take some time off the clock. 5 minutes and 20 seconds. The Hurricanes don't need more points. They need to take some time off the clock.
Loretta's pass to the sideline is good. And that's good for a first down.
Well, Thomas makes a great catch. There was nobody open, and Toretta threw it the only place he could. Thomas went down to make the catch.
He's been hobbling all day, but he found enough to make that leaping, loping catch in the end zone for the touchdown and put him ahead. Those games are still coming up. Trojans of the Huskies and the Hawkeyes and the Wolverines. First down for Miami. 43-yard line. Trying to eat up some clock. 4:40 to play in the ball game. A 1-point lead for Miami now. And here's Jack Arute.
Keith, over my shoulder, you see Tamarick Vanover. Now, what had happened to him is he took a very large gash right under his chin. It opened right up, almost like a fighter would get. The trainers have been working over him, and what they've done, they've added 3 butterfly bandages, closed it up. He's ready to get back in if called upon.
He will remember the name Michael Barrow. That'll be in Barrow's personal highlight film, too.
Bennett sets up the block, passes away to Copeland. Copeland makes the catch in midfield. They're going to need pretty close to 4 yards for their first down as Abraham makes the tackle on him. Copeland's another big, long-legged guy at that wide-out position, 6'3", 200. It's tough for a 5'9" guy to handle him. Washington jumping to a 7-0 lead over USC in that ball game early. That's a big game in the Pac-10. Aggies may get beat. Texas Tech, a lot of people thought they were going to be a tough nut in that conference. Looks like they're showing it today. It's 3rd down, long 3.
Here they come.
Loretta's pass is drilled to Copeland. He's out of bounds. It is incomplete. They say he did not have possession.
Juggle, rolled incomplete.
So now they've got to punt the ball.
4th down and 3.
Man-to-man coverage. There's the first down. Good call. Good call.
It would have been a first down, and it would have really put Florida State in a box. Here's the snap. High, beautiful kick by Snyder.
He better get out of there.
He throws the ball out. Rolling around, my gosh. It's touchdown, Miami. I don't believe what I just saw. Corey Sawyer caught the ball on the 1, went back into the end zone, then realized what he had to do, threw the ball forward, which is illegal. Then the ball came out. let the man in the white hat tell us what the decision is. One man has already signaled touchdown. Well, we've had a lot of officials' conferences in this fourth quarter.
Joe Ryder, the referee right there in the white hat, has had some tough calls.
Well, the pitch out of the end zone is an illegal play. So that could draw a flag.
Well, that could be a safety.
It could be a safety.
He's now an offensive man. He is an offensive man, lateraling, pitching the ball forward.
Is it safety or is it touchdown?
Well,
I think that's what we're talking about right here.
Anyway, the Hurricanes are going to get some points out of this.
There's an illegal forward pass, which was incomplete. When the ball becomes incomplete, there's a foul in the end zone. It's a safety.
Yeah, it's a safety. So instead of it being a crushing, killing touchdown, it is a safety. And it makes it a 19-16 score.
Corey Sawyer intercepted a pass earlier in the game. Had a punt return, and he ran back to set up one of their plays. Catches that ball. Now he's just going to stay there. Now he says, oh, I better run. This man is a sophomore.
Now watch that official right there. He's the one that's going to call touchdown when the ball comes out.
Sawyer didn't run the punts back last year. It's Terrell Buckley. Hurricanes get it. It's in the end zone now. He signals touchdown, but it's already been decided. Now Bobby Bowden is saying how many other things are going to happen in this series. How many ways?
Bobby says, you know, that there's cycle. That we've been on the short end of the cycle. Miami's been winning the close ball games, but he's getting the feeling that Miami is involved in the first 20-year cycle he's ever seen. Oh, man.
Just made a mistake. He should have never caught the ball. He was on the 1-yard line when he caught it. Then he knew he was in trouble, and then the young player just threw it out of the end zone. Great talent, but a 19 or 20-year-old kid.
And so it's 19-16 Miami over Florida State in one of the most uproarious fourth quarters of football you're going to see. The other night, that Washington State-Fresno game, there was 3 touchdowns and a field goal made and a field goal missed, all in like 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Now that's, there have been a lot of these kind of things going on around the country in football this year.
It wasn't but a few minutes ago that Bowden was up in this game 16-10, feeling pretty good. The long touchdown pass to Lamar Thomas, and then the misplay of the punt by Sawyer gave the Hurricanes 9 quick points.
Brilliant. But the offenses are inept.
It's like we said at the beginning. They've got all the flash and all the glitter, but the defenses have a way of putting the hammer to them.
That's a beautiful punt by John Wimberly. Darrell Spencer drops back under a fair catch at the 23-yard line, and there Miami will have the ball.
I don't understand that fair catch call. Yeah. He had 15 yards ahead of him.
There's offside on the kicking team.
We want it. Back. They'll take the penalty. You heard Gino Torretta saying we want it, so let's back them up. They're punting. And it's a lot easier for that ball to slide off the foot into a shank when you're punting. Of course, you don't have to punt. You can place kick it if you want it. 2 minutes and 59 seconds to play in the ball game. 19-16. Miami next week is headed north to State College, Pennsylvania. And a pretty good-sized foe waits up there. Nittany Lions undefeated.
Yes, they are.
Rolling right along. So put the ball back on the 15-yard line now and see where we are.
Take a look at Bowden. You know, it's been the last 5 years. FSU and Bowden have finished in the AP poll in the top 4 every year. Top 4 finish the last 5 years. But Miami has been ahead of them every year.
Miami's way up the field. They're not really showing a whole lot of respect for Wimberly. He got another beauty. That's a boomer. Back to the 24. Here comes Jonathan Harris. And a penalty flag, might be a face mask there, as he's taken down at the 39-yard line.
Illegal block in the back on the receiving team.
Flags flying, tempers flying, fatigue setting in. It's been a total sellout ball game by both sides. Paul White down on the field. He's at on the sidelines there. He's had a brilliant ball game. Blocked the field goal, intercepted a pass. Florida State plays after Miami. North Carolina in Tallahassee. That might not be too easy either. Both of these teams